Well, good morning. I'm Steve Thompson, president of Emery Thompson Machinery, and welcome to all of you. You've come from a long way, some of you, and we're really glad to have you here. I was mentioning a minute ago, as questions come up, just raise your hand and we'll get to them right away rather than, let it lag on.
Fester. Let it fester.
Fester, okay. And we're going to make a combination of ices and ice cream. We'll talk about gelato and any other subject that you want. We can talk about freezers, where to buy products. My making of ice cream has changed a lot over the last, is it 3 years we've been doing this, Jeff?
Yes.
By the way, this is Tie-Dye Jeff, who owns Mystic Ice Cream and Ices, and just a fantastic business just about 40 minutes north of here. And before I met up with Jeff and we started doing these seminars, I would make strawberry Italian ice. This is called a number 10 tin. This is a standard of the industry. It looks like a giant soup can. And whether it was filled with chicken vegetable soup or strawberries to make strawberry ice cream, this is a standard that you find in the industry. People will talk about a number 10 tin. I took the label off, and you'll find out why in a second, because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, this was the way I made ice cream. If I wanted to make strawberry ice cream or strawberry Italian ice, I'd open up this can and pour out what I needed. What's in here is a lot of rejected strawberries that you can't sell at the supermarket, and they're put in a gloppy, heavy syrup. There's red dye 40 in there to make it bright red, and it's just, we grew up on it. And this is what we expected from ice cream, and it was fabulous. We loved it. We're still here. But the market today has gotten a lot more savvy, a lot more intelligent. It started a number of years ago. We all started reading labels. Paula, my wife, reads the label on the Fritos and sees what the calorie content is and says, oh, hell, I'm going to eat them anyway. But we do read the label. But I see, say, a young woman with 2 children in tow coming into an ice cream parlor, and if she sees a bright red ice cream, she doesn't think, oh, isn't that pretty, or a bright yellow, or a bright green. She doesn't say, oh, look how attractive it is. She thinks, oh, that's red dye 40, it's yellow 17. These aren't things that I want to eat. So Jeff came along, and we started working together, and we changed the name from Lunch with the President, meaning me or Obama if he shows up, to make it fresh, because Jeff was showing me that he was buying most of his ingredients at the supermarket. Really simple. He says, today, what do I want to make today? Well, he goes down to the supermarket and sees what's available, and he's buying Oreo cookies for cookie ice cream. He's buying chocolate chips for mint chip ice cream. And so that's the way we make ice cream. Now, I'm going to make 3 flavors today, and Jeff's, if we have the time, is going to make at least 2, probably 3. And Jeff's are tried and true recipes that he uses in his store, and they're all really excellent. I like to experiment. I do. I go out and I try things. So when I have you come up after I've made it and you taste it and you all say it's delicious, I'm the most surprised person in the room. So I've made some horrible mistakes. I've made some just absolutely awful ice creams. I made 2 of my favorite things are bananas and coffee, and I thought, let's make banana coffee ice cream. Well, it was like the 2 of them were fighting for world dominance, and I ended up with 5 gallons of an ice cream that only I would eat, which I was quite happy with.
And of course.
Yes, Sharknado, Italian ice. And we use, shark's teeth are little small things, so we use candy corn. That was a raging,
disaster.
Yeah, award-seeking.
Not the word you were looking for.
Disaster. I've made, for my wife Paula, I made avocado ice cream. She absolutely loved it, but there's still like 4.5 gallons in the freezer.
And you once made a salsa ice cream.
Maybe.
Salsa
Sounds like something I would do. It probably looked just like your shirt and would have tasted just as good.
My shirt would taste better.
Yes. So that's what we're going to do today is make some different products.
So we're not using this?
Not using that. Handed out notepads to you to write down questions. Yes, here's a question.
Does it
It's number 10 tin is 3 quarts. We have a camera going, and so when you ask a question, we're going to try to remember to repeat it so that the people watching this on the internet down the road will have an idea of what we were talking about. So I'm going to start off by I bought strawberries at the supermarket. Now these were frozen, and I bought the Publix brand as opposed to, say, Dole, because they cost less, and I think they're just as good. When you buy a big name brand, you're paying for the big name brand. These were frozen, and I prefer most times, not always, but most times I prefer frozen fruit over fresh. The reason is the normal blueberry season up in Michigan is sometime around late June, and the blueberries are absolutely fantastic. They're in the supermarket. They're well priced. Well, here it is February, and try finding blueberries. If you can, they're probably coming out of Argentina, and they taste like cardboard. So if you buy frozen fruit, it was picked at the peak of freshness and then frozen, and it's just the fruit. There's no heavy syrups in here, no added sugar. So you're getting a consistent product. Consistency is important. I always use the example, McDonald's, in my opinion, the Big Mac is a miserable hamburger. But it's the same miserable hamburger in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, as it is in Miami, Florida, as it is in Dubai. When you walk into McDonald's, you know what you're going to get. You know what the taste is going to be. And we want that in your ice cream parlor. We want that if you only come visit Jeff's store, once every 2 years, and we hope you visit more often than that the mint chip ice cream that he makes tastes just the way you remembered it, unless he decides to change the recipe. So the fresh frozen fruit helps to that end. Now, strawberries pretty much are a little bit on the bland side. And so I'm going to use quite a few of them, but I'm still worried that the flavor might be a little bland. So I use a company called Green Mountain Flavors. And at our website, there's list key suppliers. Green Mountain Flavors in Oswego, Illinois, are all natural extracts. These aren't made from a bunch of chemicals by Dow Chemical. These are natural flavors. There's a couple of seats over there. All natural flavors, and it's going to say use 1.25 ounces per gallon. I've never used it before, but I've heard a lot of excellent reports. So I'm going to try to bolster the strawberries by adding a little extract. If you talk to any chef, they'll tell you that making cantaloupe anything is impossible. Because if you take a cantaloupe and squeeze it, or a watermelon and squeeze it, all you get is water. There really isn't much to it. It's delicious when you eat it, but it's horrible to use in a pie or ice cream or anything else. So that's where a natural extract comes along and helps a lot. So let me get going here. We're going to use the CB350, which is all set up and cleaned and ready to go.
How much water you need?
Oh, let me look. Get these turned on. What do we got?
3 quarts, 3.5 quarts?
Start me with 3 quarts, please. Here's the recipes. I'll pass them around and you can have them. And you can vary these recipes to your personal taste. What I'm trying to do is give you a recipe that works, that's great, that's delicious. And just like any chef, you can open up the joy of cooking and look up how to make a pancake, and it'll come out perfect. But then if I want to open up Thompson's House of Pancakes, I'm probably going to add my own expertise or own personal taste to it later on. It's like a franchise that I worked with years ago in the Midwest. The person had a sweet tooth, and so he used to add corn syrup, a pint of corn syrup to every batch of ice cream, just because he had such a high sweet tooth. So you can adjust it the way you want. Yeah, just putting the sugar in. And that's 2 pounds of sugar, and he's going to stir that up, if you don't mind. Boy, this is fun. You get to do all the work. I get to do all the talking.
This is the fun.
Now, this machine is the CB350. This makes 6 quarts of product at a time, and that's half a tub. Here is a typical tub, and let me just explain a little bit about these. That's a 2.5-gallon tub. Ice cream, all the formulas you see everywhere you go is going to be based on 5 gallons of finished ice cream. That's 2 of these tubs. out of our bigger machines. So all your recipes will say, and the dairy blend that we'll talk about that you buy is based on making 2.5 or 5 gallons of product. When you get into commercial ice cream, they talk about 3-gallon tubs. And the reason is, way back in the 20s, and we started this business, my grandfather invented the batch freezer in 1903, the world's first mechanized batch freezer. Not the, I'll get to you in a sec. Not the Italians, but Emery Thompson in New Rochelle, New York. Homemade ice cream parlors were making 2.5-gallon tubs, so the commercial people said, let's go to 3 gallons so we can say, buy our Hershey's ice cream. We give you an extra half-gallon for the same price of the homemade people. So that was one of their big selling points. So you will hear 2.5 and 3. In reality, Jeff and I and people in the homemade business use 2.5-gallon tubs as the standard. The Italian ice people use 3 gallons. And the reason is Italian ice with a higher sugar content takes twice as long to freeze. Ice cream's about 8 minutes. Italian ice is about 16. So every minute counts. And so if they can get another half-gallon out of a batch in the same amount of time, that's what they'll do. So you'll always see Italian ices in 3-gallon tubs, but you're going to hear this debate 2.5 versus 3, and it's basically that we in the homemade business use 2.5, or we use gelato pans, and I do like these, not just for gelato. That's what a gelato pan looks like, and they're quite expensive, but you can buy these liners, and they're supposed to be one time, but we usually get about 3 or 4 uses out of them. And that's going to be 6 quarts, and that's the perfect size for this machine. It's a nice presentation. When you go into selling to a restaurant, the chef, Haagen-Dazs, walks in and to the restaurant and says, oh, yeah, we're Haagen-Dazs. We can give you 10 3-gallon tubs, and we deliver once every 2 weeks. Well, the chef says, where am I going to store 10 of these? And how do I know 8 days from now what I want to serve? You walk in, and you use either a smaller round container or even these gelato pans, and you can deliver 3 or 4 of these, and we deliver every other day. And, oh, by the way, chef, if you have any ideas how to improve my mango sorbet, by all means, tell me. You know, the chef's never made mango sorbet in his life, but he's an executive chef, or she is. He'll tell you how to do it. But just look at the size of that. I could probably stack 4 of these in the space that this would take. So chefs love it because there's just no room in the kitchen. And so the more compact you can do it and give them more flavors, the better. So for right now, for this machine, I'm going to use that size.
Steve, does that have a cover for when you bring it to outside?
They make, if you were doing it in your own store, they have covers like that. Otherwise, you can put cellophane over it. They don't have any specific covers for them.
The metal ones do.
The metal ones?
Yeah, they have those
The metal
stainless
tops?
steel covers.
Okay. But that you don't want to give to a restaurant because you'll never get it back and they're very expensive. All right, so we've got the water, the sugar.
How much you need of that?
About 1.5 ounces. We have a brand new measuring cup. And I'm going to start pouring this in.
Does it matter what the temperature of the water was?
Okay, the question is, does it matter what the temperature of the water is? No, because so much of your freezing happens in the first couple of minutes, where it can take 80-degree water and pull it down to, say, 40 in about 2 minutes, and then it takes the rest of the time to get it down to about 20. Yes, question? No soft serve. We don't do soft ice cream. Soft ice cream is a whole different animal.
We do soft ice cream when it first comes out of the machine.
Yeah.
Then it gets hard.
Soft ice cream is a machine that it makes the soft ice cream and it holds it in the machine all day long. So if you're open from 10 in the morning till 11 at night, your machine is on and off all day long. They're complicated, they're expensive, they break down, brand new ones break down 4 times a year. And the advantage of it is you go over and you pull out 1 cone. However, you can't put nuts, cookies or candies or anything into a soft ice cream machine. It's only 1 cylinder, or if you buy 2 or 3, that's how many flavors you've got. You can't make mint chip and then Oreo cookie and then mango sorbet. You are stuck with vanilla or chocolate for more money than these machines cost. They're very limited, and it is a dwindling market. Okay, so I've got my sugar and water in there. Here's my extract going in. And I'm going to turn this on. Now, this is our new version of the Infinite Overrun control. It's a touch screen, and I'm making Italian ice, so I'm going to hit Italian ice, start it up. It's going to go to the speed that I want, and I'm going to turn on the refrigeration. And now we're freezing. Let me pick any clock, and I'll tell you about the clocks in a little bit. Now the strawberries. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? Can you grind 2 of these up in the blender?
Sure.
That's another trick that Jeff taught me. I'm taking whole strawberries and throwing them into the machine. I'm going to need to get a spatula. You can't do this with any other machine on the market. Their cylinders aren't strong enough to take nuts or cookies or candies. The opening isn't large enough to get anything in. Emery Thompson cylinders are 6 times thicker than any machine on the market, and our beaters or dashers are designed to take the abuse of doing this. Strawberries are pretty easy because they're soft, but when you see me get into, cookies, it's a whole different ballgame. So that's some of them in there, and they're going to grind up. And I learned this trick from Jeff. I used to make M&M ice cream by taking a bag of M&Ms and throwing it into the machine. They would break into quarters, halves, and you ended up with a very interesting, a very good product that was basically vanilla ice cream with M&Ms in it. Jeff takes his M&Ms and puts them in a blender and grinds them into a powder, so that for every particle of vanilla mix, there's a particle of M&M next to it. So I said, let's do the same thing with the strawberries. Let's put some whole strawberries in here, but let's also grind up the strawberries and pour that in so that we get a real good dispersion of the strawberry flavor. Beautiful. You like that new blender?
No.
I stole it.
Give it back.
Uh-oh, you can't get it apart, huh?
The flavor expands exponentially when you do this, because if you think about it, the surface of a strawberry is like that, and that's where the flavor has to come from. Now when you do this, you got 1 million pieces instead.
Mm-hmm. And it makes a huge difference.
It makes a huge difference. Old dog, new tricks.
No artificial dyes, no artificial anything in here. Spatula around?
I gave it to you.
You gave it to me. There it is. Thank you. Okay. Now, I haven't tasted this recipe, so we'll see what happens. I did it mathematically. A lot of ice cream making, in my mind, is mathematics, just like building machinery. I know that it takes a certain amount of sugar and water and flavor to be a product. So that's what I sat down yesterday and did, and we'll see how it turns out. We might then later want to modify it and say we'll add a little more sugar or a little less.
Don't be embarrassed to throw it out.
No, absolutely. And let's say you're in the Italian ice business and you're going to make, thank you, you're going to make 10 flavors. Well, if you spent half a day, 4 hours, making your strawberry flavor and throwing them out, you really haven't spent a lot of money, especially, you're going to be in business for the next 30 years. You spent 4 hours just making strawberry. It won't take any longer than that to come out down with your formula. I have people calling up and saying, oh, I want to buy the machine in November, I'm opening in May, and I want to experiment. If I was a good salesman, I would say, oh, that's great, send your money in. The truth is, if you're opening in May, you should be buying your machine in February and not any sooner than that. You got a lot of other stuff to do. You got to get the store ready, you got to buy the ingredients, you got to do all these different things. You don't need to do a lot of experimenting. But when you are experimenting, write down what you just did on a 3x5 file card. I can't tell you how many times I've made 4 or 5 batches of strawberry and then I hit on the perfect one and I go, now what did I do? and you forget because you've been doing it for several hours. So put it on file cards like Jeff has so that you remember what you did. And if you did it 5 times till you come out with the perfect recipe, then you throw the other 4 away.
What did you do without me? How did you exist?
I just stood around and made money. Here's another thing about file cards. This is where my Bronx comes out. If you're teaching another employee how to make ice cream, and you should, because you might actually want to take a day off someday, shocking as it is, and have someone else make the ice cream. If you have hired an ice cream or ices maker, you should know everything about how to make your product so that they can't hold you hostage. But if I was teaching someone brand new how to make ices, and I was already in business, I would say, I'm the boss, here's my formula, I want you to follow this exactly. If you drop a spoon in the machine and it goes clunk, don't worry about it. We'll call Emery Thompson, they'll get us up and running. It's only a machine. But if you deviate from my recipe, remember I want consistency throughout the years and throughout the number of stores I have. If you deviate from this recipe, we're going to break your legs and we're going to drag you out into the street and we're going to shoot you and then we're going to fire you. Because it's that serious that you don't want this recipe changed. So you impart that on your employees that this is the holy grail unless Jeff, with his formula here, changes his recipe.
That being said, understand that what we're making, we meaning all of us, is homemade ice cream. When I make chocolate chip ice cream and then I follow it with another flavor of strawberry, let's say, which I don't make, and the strawberry has a few chocolate chips left in it, that's okay. It's homemade ice cream. I wouldn't want to fool around with raisins or nuts, but chocolate chips, I don't mind. And also, homemade ice cream, this is a recipe that I came up with 5 years ago. I still change it. And there's a couple of guys in the back who went through my class, and he approached me before and he said, one of the recipes he got out of my book, he changed it, which is what we're here for. So don't be married to these. And in nothing against what he said, but I think people enjoy new flavors and new variations on flavors.
But it's got to come from the owner, not the employee.
Well, that's another sore point, because you want to give your main employees, if anybody else is making ice cream, you want to give him or her the freedom to experiment a little, as long as you have the confidence in that person to know that he or she is going to come up with something in your style of ice cream. But I wouldn't pull the reins in on them, because they'll get terribly bored taking a card and week after week following the card. I think you got to give them a little leeway, let the reins out a little. And if you find after 1 or 2 tests that they've done it's no good, then you work with them, tell them what it needs to be, but let them have the thrill and the joy and the experience that you have as ice cream makers.
If your employee's bored, tell them to go get a dog. Don't mess around with my formula. You had a question.
Yeah, your formulas are so great. Sharknado ice cream.
Is the difference between the whole strawberries and little strawberries? The reason for that?
The reason of why we ground up the strawberries is the whole strawberries will break into pieces. So it has what I call the fruit identity. We eat with our eyes as well as our taste buds. So if I can see into the tub and I see pieces of Oreo cookie or I see pieces of strawberry, I go, oh, that's strawberry ice cream. The grinding it up, for every particle of dairy, there is now a particle of strawberry next to it. So our flavor is going to be much more intense.
A perfect example is what he said before, M&M ice cream. When you go into a store, what they're basically doing is taking vanilla ice cream and throwing M&Ms in it. Whereas if you do this and you pulverize the M&Ms, the flavor is amazingly intense, and you're really eating M&M ice cream, not vanilla ice cream with M&Ms. Yes, sir.
Question. You brought up the question with regards to somebody drops a spoon in your machine. Is that machine people friendly, or do I have to fully use it? Because I personally would rather rip it apart and put it back together myself.
Well, don't forget, everything, this is your machine, but everything is in this sealed cylinder. So if, in my opinion, before I would call Steve, what I would do is take the front, open the front, take the dasher out, inspect it for any damage, which it probably won't be because they're made like iron. Oh, absolutely. Is that all right?
The average life of an Emery Thompson is 45 years.
That's very conservative.
And the most, it is conservative, and the most tenuous time is the first 2 weeks. I get the majority of calls from customers for the first 2 weeks. And it's fascinating questions. But since I've heard them all before, and my staff has all heard them before, what's insurmountable to you is easy to us. I give out my home telephone number, which no CEO in the industry is going to do that. You can't find Andrea Cocchi over in Italy. You can't, Capigiani. You can't get Greg McMaster on the phone at Taylor. I don't even know who runs Electrofreeze. But my home phone number, if you want to write it down, is area code 914-643-7391. If you can't find me at the factory, I'm available on my cell phone from 6 in the morning till 9 at night, 7 days a week. No one gives service like that. Typical problem, we just made strawberry ice cream, and you call up and you say the machine is banging and clanking and then it's shut down. What's wrong with my machine? Immediately you think it's something wrong with my machine. I would ask a series of questions, one of which would be, what are you making? I'm making strawberry ice cream. Taste it. How does it taste? Oh, it's really bland. It tastes like strawberries and water. You left the sugar out of the formula. And without the sugar, you're just making a giant ice cube. That's the kind of questions that we hear. And that's a lot of fun. I don't have timers on my machine. This is very sophisticated, the infinite overrun control. It's my invention. It's been around for 12 years, and no one has even begun to figure out how to copy it. It allows me to make any frozen dessert on earth, any air content. I don't have timers. Here's a $12 timer. There's a $7 one. Here's one my bookkeeper gave me. I don't put them on the machines. The reason I don't put them on the machines is because I've watched the Capigianis run, and they used to call it the Heart-O-Matic, now they call it the Heart-O-Tronic. You know, terrible name to begin with either way. And what it does is it reads a certain consistency and then shuts down. The only problem is when vanilla is ready at a certain consistency at 8 minutes, if the machine shuts down and says it's ready, that's fine. Strawberry is always going to be softer because of the strawberries. It runs softer. Your machine will just run on forever. It'll never detect it. All it is an amp meter measuring the load on the motor. I did that 30 years ago. But ice cream is not, I don't call it an art or a science, but there are techniques to it. And all you have to understand is the higher the sugar content, the longer the freezing. So if you're making just plain vanilla, it's going to be the fastest product you make. If you're making salted caramel with a lot of caramel in there, your freezing time will be longer. So what I do is I set a timer for approximately how long I expect this batch to be, but I'm still going to come back and check it and see how it looks. Now that's looking just about perfect. I want it so that when I open it, it cuts off like a knife went through it. So I'll get my spatula and we'll be just about ready here. There you go. Question? Oh, the question was, is it safer for the machine to grind things up before you put it in? If it was a Capigiani, that's the only way you could do it, if you could even get them in the spout. No, this machine is designed, you're going to see me drop all sorts of stuff in here today, and Jeff too. It can take anything. This is ready. I'm turning off the refrigeration. The other thing is,
it depends more on what you want to come out.
When the product's ready, you want to get it out of the machine very fast. Imagine you're broiling a steak and it's ready in 10 minutes. If it takes you 5 minutes to get the steak out, that steak's going to be rare at the front and well charred at the back. So the Italians have a flaw in their machine. It takes about 4 minutes to get the product out. Watch what Emery Thompson does. If you can't get it out quickly, you won't have the buzzword consistency. Now, strawberry blows up more than any other product, so I have lots of product here. This is the nature of strawberry.
So that has a lot of overrun?
It has some air in it. It's not overrun the way we think of in ice cream, because overrun is the fat cells expanding. This is solids expand, and we're getting the solids from the strawberry, so they're expanding a bit.
Come and get it.
I could knock that air down to zero on the Italian ice by just lowering the speed of the machine.
Is that good?
No. I'm looking for a good eating ice cream. So come on up and try it. Tell me what you think.
So Steve, infinite overrun only
That's right, but that speed controls the product. Gelato is a very dense ice cream. Frozen custard is even more dense. Haagen-Dazs is not quite as dense, and homemade is less dense. Nobody ever walked out of an ice cream parlor and said, that's the best damn air content I ever ate. People eat flavor. They do not eat air. They know what they like. It's like what the judge said about art. I know good art when I see it. He said something else, but we won't go into that. But you taste it and you say, that's a good product, just the way it is. How's it taste?
What? I'll eat what you want, throw away the rest.
Yeah, nobody has to eat it all. I'm going to try it. Have you tried it, Jeff?
Yes.
What do you think?
Oh, I think it's pretty strawberry.
What else would you do?
I'm not a big fan of strawberry.
Me neither.
So I really can't.
And see this color? Just look at that color. That's all natural. There's no artificial anything in there. So that's a good, healthy product that anybody would be proud to serve to their family. Question?
You said that was the first time you used that concentrated flavor?
The extract, yes.
Yeah, the extract. Do you notice a difference? Do you like the difference?
I do. It has the extract gives it a more intense
Where'd it go?
flavor, and it's all natural. Yes.
Is sorbet and Italian ice the same product?
Yes. The question is
No.
sorbet,
Sorbet
and Italian ice the same product? It certainly is. Let me show you the difference between sorbet and Italian ice. Italian ice is lemon, cherry, grape, orange, chocolate. Sorbet is mango, kiwi, apricot, papaya, a little more exotic. Here, that's strawberry Italian ice. That's strawberry sorbet. The difference is about $5 in a restaurant. I can get a lot more money for that. I can get $1.50 for this. I can get $5.75 for that. Same product. I don't care what the Italians say. They're wrong. There's no difference. And if you look at their formulas, they're exactly the same. Now, we do have another product we make called cream ice, where we take a small amount of the dairy product and add it to the Italian ice, and that makes a cream ice or a cremalata. And that's a fantastic product. But it's still in the Italian ice realm. But that's the only difference between the two is right there. And nobody can dispute that. So if Jeff comes back, we're going to make his product. Now, this machine just made the strawberry. If I was doing production, a lot of production, I would have made lemon ice first, and then I would have made orange ice because there's so little lemon left in the machine, the orange will cover it over, and they're both in the same citric family. Then I would make the strawberry, and then after that I would make red raspberry because they both have seeds, they're both in the same general family. Then I might make black raspberry, and then I would rinse the machine. The other thing is, you're never going to make just one batch. If you're making just one batch, which in terms of a 3-gallon tub is only half a tub, if you're only making that much today, this is a flavor you're in love with, and your customers are not. I'm a professional at making flavors that I'm in love with and nobody else can stand. When you do use this size machine, all our machines are built the same. The quality is the same. The materials are the same. It's just capacity, and capacity translates to labor. I have to run this twice to fill this tub. So I'm going to fill this tub halfway, put it in the freezer, make another batch, and then I'm just going to fill it up the rest of the way. The time differential between the two is next to nothing. It doesn't matter. And so every approximately 30 minutes, I'll have a full tub. This is going to make a full tub in 16 minutes. The next size up for only 2,000 more is going to make 2 tubs in 16 minutes. And the world's biggest batch freezer, which you don't need, is going to make 4 of these in 16 minutes. Take the road. And Ken, will you pot down my mic? Thank you.
I find that there's not a lot of fruit left in there, even though you put whole fruit in there. They did a good job of mashing all the fruit up.
The blender.
We put it. You want to bring my mic up again? Because we put it all in the blender. The fruit didn't go anywhere. You saw me put 3 bags in. It all went into the machine, but it ground it all up to give it the taste. If you were blindfolded and taste it, you'd say, oh, that's a really intense strawberry. If you want chunks of strawberry, that's fine. You could open the gate halfway as it's coming out and just throw them in. I do that with Oreo cookie ice cream. One bag in the machine on a bigger one, and the second bag I take each cookie and snap it into 3 pieces. So I've got my fruit flavor or my cookie flavor in the machine that if I'm blindfolded, yeah, that's Oreo cookie. I've got my fruit identity or my cookie identity by shaking in the pieces as it comes out. I can see chunks of cookies.
What I meant more is that because of the strength of the machine that the fruit somewhat gets incinerated, because I saw you put whole fruit in there.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to grind it up like a Cuisinart. But whole nuts will break into quarters. Cookies will get pulverized, so I add them as coming out. One more question over there.
Can you mix fruits, like if you want to mix strawberry, banana, it doesn't matter, you can put multiple kinds of fruits in there and you won't have any issues?
Oh, yeah, it's only limited to your imagination. When I do live demos against other companies at, say, trade shows, I'm here all day long peeling bananas. I do it at Penn State next week. I peel bananas and just drop them right in the machine because they can't do that. The openings aren't large enough. And then I throw some cookies in, and then I'll throw some nuts in. I'm going to turn it over to Jeff. We're on a deadline.
We are?
Yes, we have only till 2 o'clock today.
Oh, okay. How many people have seeds stuck in their teeth right about now? No? I'm not a big fan of strawberry. So the first flavor we'll make is honey vanilla. The #1 flavor in the whole world is vanilla. It's also, I found, the hardest ice cream to make because I like my ice creams to be, don't mind me.
No, I won't.
Okay. I like my ice creams to be not only very flavorful, but also sweet. So you'll try this, you'll see what it is. It's a good basis for anything else you want to add to it. And I'll show you what we do that's the important secret things about it. First, we're going to take 5 quarts of mix, which is, in my machine, a half a batch. Okay.
You're running the 10 quart,
the
12 quart.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, he's gone. We can talk about anything we want. So the 5 quarts, you're going to write this down, I guess, right? 5 quarts of mix. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now, do you know what that means? You guys haven't worked with the machines yet, but when that happens, it could mean one of 2 things. The gate isn't closed all the way, but usually these have come a little loose. These aren't. Ah, that one is. So that's it. It's no big deal. Unless you forget to leave the gate closed and then it spews all over the floor, but that's another issue. I like to use an ounce of liquid vanilla. Well, before we get to that, let me do this. I cut the beans to get the little specks and the flavor into the ice cream. So I use 1 bean per quart, which is costly, but well worth it. And the way we do it, the way I do it, is I take a very sharp knife and I cut off the curly ends of each of the beans. And then I make a slit down the middle, or close. And spread it open. And then take the other side of the knife and run it down, and you get all those beautiful vanilla seeds. And I've done, while Steve was making his ices, I did that to a bunch of beans so that we have the innards. And what I do is, and you should do this too, with the husks, after you scrape them, put them in a bottle of cheap vodka and just keep throwing them in every time you use husks and store it in a dark place. And in about a week, you'll have better vanilla than you can buy anywhere. And you don't have to use good vodka, cheap vodka, the cheapest you can find. I use the 175s, the big bottles, and just throw everything in there, all the little ends that you cut off, all the beans, or everything, just the garbage that you would normally throw out. And in about 30 days, because you'll keep doing this, you'll have just amazing vanilla, like the best vanilla. You won't even want to use it on your everyday ice cream. You'll save it for special ice creams. So then we put the beans in there. You all know what those little specks look like in the ice cream. Breyers, I think, was famous for that, for the little specks in the ice cream. Now, I always add liquid, and no offense to you guys, but I didn't want to waste my good vanilla on this class. So I used Steve's vanilla. I shouldn't have said that. So that's all right. It's honest anyway. So how many ounces would I use then? Boy, sharp class, sharp group. So 5. And then the main ingredient in this is the honey. Honey's not honey. You can buy honey for $12 for this size, or you can buy it for $100 for this size. I buy the best honey I can. Now, there's about 8 different kinds of honey, and you'll have to decide what flavor you like. Today we're using orange blossom. Not one of my favorites, but again, it's for you guys. This is about $60. What I like is about $125, and it's good stuff. Anyway, so we'll use 20 ounces of honey. Yes, sir.
What is the one that you like?
Well, there's one honey that I really like, but it's so damn expensive. It's sourwood. It's called sourwood honey. But there's a lot of different kinds of honey, and it's really what you like, not what I like, even though I know best. So we're going to use 20 ounces of honey. 20 ounces. Now, if you're price conscious on how much your ice cream is costing you, which I'll get into tomorrow in my class more in depth, but you have to figure out how much your ingredients cost to make a batch of ice cream. My ingredients run between $40 and $60 for a batch of ice cream, which is high. But that's why my business is successful, because they flock to taste these ice creams. So 20 ounces of honey. These machines are going to mix the product for you. In earlier classes, I used to come with my famous paint mixer, which I attached to a drill, and I would combine all these ingredients here and then put it in. But I really found that with these machines, you don't have to. The only thing I like to do is have the machine running when I'm adding something that's a little heavier than liquid. So I'll start the machine, and then we'll add the honey. And, of course, we're going on super premium ice cream, which will be at 234?
No, 170.
170. I knew that. So the honey goes in now that it's mixing. And because it's so expensive, I didn't hear that. What do you ask? 10. I always use 10. I think you always use 10 also, don't you, Steve?
I do.
1 second. I can't hear you while the machine's running here. Hang on 1 minute.
The reason I'm using 10, well, just doing that real quick. Back in New York, we might run 14% butterfat. And if you're running 14%, I'm going to run 16%, just so I can say I'm the richest ice cream in New York. No other good reason. Haagen-Dazs is 16. Ben & Jerry is just about there, too. You come down to Florida, and I was surprised how few ice cream parlors there are, because we Northerners come down with our northern attitudes of high-fat ice cream, and you go out on a 100-degree day with 100% humidity and eat a 16% butterfat ice cream, you're going to drop dead in the parking lot. and it's not good for business. It'll give you a stomach ache. It'll make you sweat. The body can't assimilate that much high fat in a hot climate. So anything below Washington, D.C., I'm pretty much running a low-fat ice cream. 10, 12, 14's okay. I prefer a 10 or a 12 so that it's not the fat that you're eating, it's the flavor. Again, nobody ever walked out of an ice cream parlor saying, that's the fat content I ever ate. They say, that mint chip was great. It wasn't chalky, it was refreshing. I feel like I could go back and get another one. That's the perfect ice cream. It's a balance of the air content, the fat content, and most important of all, the flavor.
Yes, sir. Boy, I must be going deaf. What did you say?
5 gallons.
5 quarts.
Quarts of what you call mix. Where is that? Is that just something you buy off the shelf? You made that mix?
Ah, okay. Mix. Where do you live?
I live in Bureau, Florida.
Oh, perfect. You can buy this from 2 companies in Florida. One is the Ice Cream Club down in Hillsborough. Where are they?
St. Pete.
No, the Ice Cream Club.
Oh, ice cream club's in Boynton Beach.
Boynton Beach. Or you can get it from Dairy, what is it called?
Dairy Mix
Dairy
in
Mix
Sarasota.
in St. Petersburg.
St. Pete.
And they'll deliver it chilled, refrigerated, right to your door. If you don't have access to this, go into another business. No, just kidding. If you don't have access to this, there are ways around it, but not comfortable ways. But this is an easy fix, especially for you in Vero.
This is a combination of milk, cream, skim milk powder, and sugar. And this came out of the cow yesterday and was bought by Dairy Mix Ice Cream
really
Club.
Yes.
And it was blended together 500,000 gallons at a time by dairy scientists who know exactly how much to put in. They know the difference between a Holstein and a Jersey and a Guernsey cow. They know that cows produce more heavy cream in the winter than they do the summer. They take all these factors into account so that you get a consistent product. The problem with this product is the name. We call it mix. It's a dairy term, and it's just a horrible name. This is a beautiful blend of the freshest products you can get put together by people who really know what they're doing. When you order this, do you specify the blend? No, because you really don't know the blend. You don't know how much cream in July to use as opposed to how much cream in February. So it's sold by percentage of fat, 10, 12, 14, 16. And to give you an example, whole milk is 4% fat. Low-fat milk is 2% fat. Now, if you've ever tasted the two, you know there's a world of difference between whole milk and low-fat milk. And yes, it's only 2 percentage points. So jumping from 10 to 12 is a dramatic jump. But again, depending on your market, it may not be the right product for your market. In Florida, I think it's too high a fat.
Once again,
Milk, cream, skim milk powder, and sugar.
and a bunch of other things, but that's not really important. Right, all that stuff. It's important to learn how to make a recipe. Sure, you can buy my book, and I hope you do, and it has 21 or so just terrific recipes in it that can keep you going for years. But I hope you want to experiment, because you don't want to be, hopefully you want to be more of an artist than a chemist. And that's an important distinction. So anyway, when you work on a recipe, which it's a little too long to go into now, but get yourself some file cards and work it, and then keep changing it as you're making the recipe. You'll start with a basic idea of what you want to make, but then you may say, you know what, I need a little more strawberries. So you add it, and then make sure to continue it. When you get it set, how you like it as your basic recipe, go ahead and laminate them on cards, and you can keep them in a file box in your store or whatever, and that will grow. I have, I don't know, 200 up by now, and and we carry 40 flavors all the time. So 200, and I've got 40 on hand, so I always have something I can go to. Interesting story. Yeah, they all want to hear it. Okay, the other day, what you'll find, what I find, is that you always want to make new flavors. That's the bane of this existence, because you just can't have 100. 40 is really pushing it. I have 40 fresh on hand every day. The other day, I was reading online of the most popular flavors in the world. Number one in the whole world. Number one is, obviously, vanilla. Number two, obviously, chocolate. Number three wigged me out a little bit. Number three, what did you think number three might be?
Butter pecan?
Believe it or not, yeah, butter pecan. It was butter pecan. You know, that's good, and we sell it, and I make it, but it's butter pecan. Now, number four was a complete shocker. Number four, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup ice cream. So, I decided, well, if that's number four in the world, I gotta make it. I gotta make it. So, I went to the store, and I went to the candy aisle. This is how I think. I went to the candy aisle, because you can go and buy stuff like that. I went to the store, and I went to the candy aisle, and I saw big bricks of Reese's peanut butter, chocolate, you know, bricks, like Hershey's, only thick and bricks. So I bought, I guess, 10 of them. And they were like $4 each or something, but I bought 10 of them, not knowing what I was going to do. Get back to the store, and I started making this recipe. So I used, now it's obviously two things. It's peanut butter and chocolate, but it's milk chocolate in Reese's. They use milk chocolate and peanut butter. And it's not peanut butter, it's like their peanut butter, which is a little different. So I took all those bars and I froze them. Then, after they were frozen, I guess that next day or something, I put them in the secret blending machine, which only they know about right now, but it's an amazing thing. I'll tell you at the break. Anyway, it pulverized these things, so I had powder, much the same as the M&M powder. Hang on. What? No, that's for the coconut. So I pulverized them, and then I set up my little station on how to make a recipe, which is adding a little mix, pre-measured amount, and then a little of this stuff, pre-measured, my vanilla, pre-measured. Anyway, all the things I needed, and then I wanted a little more chocolate, so I added my secret chocolate, which is Ghirardelli's chocolate powder, and I made my little combo, and I tasted it, and it was good. Not great. It was good. So I then went back to my shelves and I said, well, peanut butter and chocolate. So I took a jar of Skippy Super Chunk and I whacked off a little of that. And then I went to my favorite chocolate, which is Fox's You Bet. Anybody know about that? No. It's a northern thing. Anyway, so I then doctored that, and then I had it. Then I had my flavor. So I made it, and it came out wildly great. And I'm able to call it on my menu board Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Ice Cream because my base was Reese's Pieces. Is this an oil painting out here? They all look like, look at this, they're blank.
Fascinated by what you had to say.
Yeah, I don't think that's the word. So anyway, so that's one of our flavors. By the way, number 5, believe it or not, pistachio. So those are the top 5 flavors in the world. Pistachio is ridiculously hard to make for me because you have to use a lot of chemical, to get that flavor. You can pour all the pistachio nuts you want and you're not going to get that pistachio flavor. But anyway, so that's the story of Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Ice Cream, and it came out really good. So.
A lot more flavor because you use the peanut butter and you use the chocolate, whereas the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups is a horrible thing to begin with because it's sugar and a little bit of peanut butter in that filling. So you're getting the flavor because you're using that real peanut butter.
Well, I started with the Reese's Blocks. Reese's Blocks. They're this thick and they're this big, and they have square, designations on them, and you break them.
But they still have that filling.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
But see, there's a lot of sugar in that filling.
Hello, it's ice cream.
Yeah, I know, but you're getting your flavor from the real peanut butter.
Well, no, I think I'm getting most of the flavor from their bars.
But you said you didn't like it when you used it.
Yeah, I know. I said it was good. Did I say I didn't like it? How many people heard me say it was good?
Sorry, I think good is.
After the break, switch to someone in the back. All right? Yes, sir.
In order to make ideal Reese's flavor, you have to use Reese's, or can you use any?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The question was, in order to make that flavor, do you have to use Reese's? No. You can use Walmart peanut butter chocolate flavored bits, but I wanted to call it Reese's on my sign. So that's why I started with that. And money is no object to me when it comes to making ice cream, because you're always going to get that back. I mean, don't worry about it. If it costs you $40 or $80 to make a batch, you're going to get it back. Hang on one second. Oh, it's ready.
Ow. Can you stand to the side so they can see it on camera? Can you all see this? This is the ice cream ready, coming out.
You're going to need another container to save it if you want.
Yes.
And I know how you don't throw out anything I make.
No, I eat it all. I'll tell you a trick about Jeff's ice cream, and I would do with mine if I made good ice cream, is when you get to my age, sometimes you have to go see specialists. You have to go see an eye specialist or, whomever. And all these guys are the same. They make your appointment for 3 in the afternoon, and they tell you bring War and Peace because you're going to be there for a couple hours. Because it turns out that 15 other people had the same 3 o'clock appointment. So you get to these specialist doctors, and you sit there and you wait and you wait and you wait. I don't wait for doctors. And it's not because I'm an arrogant SOB, which I can be anyway, but it's because I bring ice cream. I bring in tubs of ice cream and cups and spoons, and the nurse says, oh, fine, I'll give that to the doctor. No, you won't. I will give it to the doctor. And I sit down, and it's sitting there melting, and they know it's melting, and they know it's out here, and there may be 15 people in that office, but I get in first. And I am not beyond doing that. I think it is a shameless thing to do.
Shamelessly, I do the same thing. I bring ice cream wherever I go. Come up and have some.
Now, if I want to push the rest of this out, I can manually bump the speed up.
The spoon's over there.
Steve, how do you know when that's done?
The way you know the ice cream's run is you can open the you can open the gate and close it quickly. And if it cuts off like a knife went through it, it's ready. If it oozes out, it's not quite ready. It's just that simple. This is the best vanilla you'll ever eat. Right up there is great.
And they should still be good for a while.
Thank you. I'm going to use them right away, Connie. Thanks.
Help, would you spread some of those out? Thank you.
Maybe if I get a hold of them.
Yes.
This way.
Strawberry,
Yeah.
lemon juice.
Okay.
Give you a little bit of pop.
Yeah. Good idea. All right. I would share that with everyone, but I don't want to give away your secret. That's too good.
I've done that with cherry.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Great.
Totally changed it.
It's kind of like adding a little vanilla to everything. It enhances the flavor.
Secrets to this business. What are you supposed to be sharing with us?
I'll tell you off camera.
15 states.
You want some?
No, thanks. I'm going to have it for dinner tonight. I'm skipping the filet mignon and having your ice cream. Okay, I'm going to go back to the CB350 and make another product.
How you doing, big guy?
Let me just run this out to Connie first so that she can package it for me.
1.25 pounds of mini cups,
Right.
frozen.
And it came out like that.
Came out
Yeah.
like that. Put it right into
That
the
way your
mix with
ice
some
cream
vanilla.
has the flavor.
And I tried the Reese's.
Yeah.
And I did a batch of the Kirkland. My neighbors knew right away. It was not
Kirkland's
Reese's.
better.
No,
Reese's
Reese's was much better.
Excellent. Oh, Kirkland's, you mean
I'll
from
be right
Neighbors
back.
Mark or right?
Right.
Okay.
They knew the difference.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
your mug, or you just use straight?
I just used the straight cups with vanilla, that was it. And I'm gonna try that with adding some extra peanut butter and chocolate to it.
That's 'cause that's how I like things, you know, a little more flavorful.
Very good.
Very good. That's very good. And you see what I mean by using it as a base? You could add chocolate chips to this. You could add chocolate chunks, milk chocolate chips, mini dark chocolate. Sky's the limit.
Okay, here comes one of my never
Where'd the ice
made
cream go?
before. I just took it away.
Wow. I get one spoonful, that's it?
We're packing it up.
Jeez.
We're just trying to maintain your svelte figure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you how to pronounce this because we had to look it up. Ken, who's in the back room there running all the controls, looked it up for me. It's called Speculoos cookie butter ice cream. It's Dutch, and it's very popular, and you'll find that it tastes like graham crackers. So I'm actually going to add some graham crackers to it. And it was one of these things, Paula saw it in a magazine and said, this sounds interesting, let's try it. So that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to run the CB350 on that. I'm going to start with 4 quarts of mix. Jeff, the bag of mix went where?
Right there.
Oh, thanks.
There's 5 left in the bag.
Okay. I'm going to pour this into the 6 quart. Make sure your gate is closed because the last thing you did was rinse out the machine. And invariably, sometimes you leave the gate open and the mix is going all over the floor and you're wondering, what happened?
Hey, aren't we on a break now?
No, after this.
It says here, break.
We're on a break?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break then.
It says right here after.
All right, we're going to take a tell you that 3 times.
Look, see?
You're right. Starbucks break. Anybody who wants coffee, there's soda over there in the kitchen. There is water. Just grab a cup with some ice. And the restrooms are over there if you want to go outside and walk around. I'm going to make Speculoos ice cream. Ken, we're ready when you are. We up?
We're up.
Okay. All right, we're back. And before I get making this ice cream, I just wanted to touch on one more thing about Italian ice. A gentleman during the break reminded me of it. And I said that Italian ice, well, that's not a squeeze cup, but that would be the kind of portion. Italian ice is served in a cup. Sorbet is in the nice glass. There's one other product that is exactly the same thing as frozen lemonade. Frozen lemonade, we saw a lot of it in the, come on in, this is my wife Paula, our office manager. And frozen lemonade is sold at places, we sell it at Six Flags, we sell it at Disney, SeaWorld, Universal, and it's a huge moneymaker for them. It's basically my secret lemon ice formula, which on a 24-quart machine, if you want to write it down, is 7 pounds of sugar, 14 quarts of water, and 2 quarts of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Oftentimes, if you're getting really big in this, you can buy lemon juice in 5-gallon pails, refrigerated with the pulp in it, delivered by the same people who deliver flour and sugar to bakeries. So you just ladle out 2 quarts and pour it in the machine. And then the final bit of the secret is, since there's no chemicals in this, it comes out of the machine pure white. And because there's no colors or anything. And I take 6 California lemons and just take a cheese grater and grate off the skin, or what a chef calls the zest, little specks of lemon, and I throw that in. It does nothing for the flavor. It just looks beautiful, this white field with little specks of lemon in it. I have a customer whose name I can't tell you or where he is, but if he could use artificial water, he would. He's so cheap. And he uses corn syrup instead of cane sugar. Big deal. He's saving about 4%. He buys the cheapest extracts on earth, made from pure chemicals. And then he puts this all together to make his Italian ice. And then he takes a bunch of lemons and cuts them up into big pieces and throws them into my machine. Now, a lemon is inedible. You don't sit there and chew on a lemon rind. But when he serves up this chemical cocktail and serves it to you, there's a chunk of lemon sticking out of it, and you go, oh man, look at that, that's fresh. And it fools people every time. The frozen lemonade is the same formula, only we pull it out of the machine a couple of minutes early, so it comes out halfway between a slush or a Slurpee and an Italian ice. And then we would put it, the places like Universal take tubs like this, they line them with a plastic bag, they dump it from the machine right into here and then throw it into a freezer at about 19 degrees, 19 or 20 degrees, and they can hold it there until they need it. And then they send it out into the park and they ladle it into these cups and sell this for $5.50 or more. And of course they can put their logo on it so they can charge even more for it. The beauty of this, two things. One is when you go to SeaWorld, the father with his wife and 2 kids has spent about $65 to get into the park. They got there at 9 in the morning, and by 1 in the afternoon, the kids are hot, they're tired, they're cranky, and they want to go home. And the father's thinking, I spent all this money and they want to go home already. It's like I've wasted my money. So Universal, SeaWorld, Disney said, let's sell them frozen lemonade. That's a large cup of sugar, water, and flavor. It takes about 10 minutes to eat. So you give it to a child and say, here, go sit under that palm tree and eat this. It's putting sugar and coolness into their body. It refreshes them, and then and the dad goes off to get a beer, and the whole family is refreshed and ready to go. This will complement your Italian ice sales. It's a whole different product. So you can sell all different Italian ices and also have frozen lemonade at the same time. We sell this in baseball stadiums, football stadiums, on the beach, lots of places. Quick story about Universal Studios. These people are so smart. They are so marketing geniuses that I gave them my secret formula, which I just gave to you. And I go back a month later to check on them. And I tasted the product, and I looked at the chef, and I said, who messed with my formula? There's citric acid in here. Citric acid is a cheap way to make something tart. It has no social redeeming value whatsoever, except that if you're too cheap to use enough lemon juice, you can add citric acid to make it more tart. If you use too much lemon, it makes you thirsty, and it makes your throat close. So I'm tasting Universal's product, and it's making my throat close a little bit, but mainly it's making me thirsty. And I said, what's going on? They said, oh, it's the suits upstairs. They've thought this out. Here's what they thought out. They said, come on in the park. We're going to show you around. So we find a family, husband, wife, 2 kids, and they order up the frozen lemonade, and they're eating it, and they're walking. And we're a little distance behind them. They're eating it, and they're walking. And I know with that formula, it's making them thirsty. And they continue to eat it, and they walk it, and they know down to the step when you will have finished this, and when you did, what's right over there? Budweiser beer stand and Pepsi-Cola. And they're going to now sell you a Pepsi and a beer. And that's how the whole park is laid out. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but it's laid out to make money. And it's incredible. But again, selling sugar and water. Down in the Caribbean, in Antigua, I did this, an idea. The government runs the beaches. And they do allow people on the beach to sell things. So we went to the government, we said, we're going to put it into a plastic cup with the name of the company on it. So at sundown today, we will take our employees and we'll walk the 5 miles of beach, and we will guarantee you there will be none of our trash on your beach because it's got our logo name on it. But you're on vacation, and rum costs less than Poland spring water, so it's literally cheaper to brush your teeth with rum than it is Poland spring water. In the room, you have a little glass on purpose. It's made out of glass. You don't want to take it to the pool because it might break, and you got glass around the pool, and everybody's mad at you. And you got to pay $10 to get a rum and Coke at the bar. So my customer, by putting it into a nice plastic cup like this, you're taking the cup home. And as you leave, I say, bring it back tomorrow. We'll fill it up for half price. And the guy takes it home, and he makes himself a nice big rum and Coke. He can take it to the pool. He's happy as can be. And he comes back tomorrow, and the customer says, "Where's your cup?" He said, "Are you kidding? My wife's so mad at me because I didn't bring her a cup." So he buys the next one. So there's a lot of little variations you can do with just a cup and some sugar and water.
So one more time, 7 pounds of water, 14 quarts.
7 pounds of sugar, 14 quarts of water, and 2 quarts of fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Put the water in?
I'm making ice cream, and it's in there. Now, one last thing. If you're in Brooklyn, in a real Italian neighborhood where they're speaking Italian, the formula is going to be 6 pounds of sugar because they like a more crunchy ice, what they call a granita or granite. So you just drop the formula by a pound, it becomes more crunchy. New York style ice, 7 pounds of sugar. Go down the Jersey Turnpike to where they call it the wrong name. They don't even call it Italian ice, they call it water ice. And water ice in Philadelphia, they like it smoother than New York. You add a pound of sugar. It's 8 pounds of sugar to that formula instead of 7. It's not enough of a change to change the flavor, but it will change the texture, make it smoother. The more sugar, the smoother it is. So this product that we're making now is called Speculoos, and it is a cookie butter.
What does that mean?
It means cookie butter. It's Dutch, and it's very popular in Dutchland, wherever that is. And it tastes like graham crackers. And
Why it's not popular in this country?
you wonder, but when you taste it, you're going to say, "Hey, I think I'll add this to my repertoire."
Okay, you putting this in there?
Yes. So I've got the mix in here, and I'm going to turn this to super premium, which is 170 RPMs on this machine. And I'm going to turn on the refrigeration. I'm setting a timer.
Is it different on different machines?
No.
It's always 170, right?
Yeah. And I'm going to add this in. Are there 2 of these? No, these are the ones I want. Connie already pre-melted these, so I can just go like that. Much easier. All we did was put this in the microwave on a low heat to soften it up. And this is why we have a lid on the machine, because it spits. And same with this one. Again, I've never made this. We'll see what happens. Now, since it tastes like graham crackers, I'm going to add graham crackers.
You got your vanilla in there?
I don't have vanilla in there.
I'll get it.
An ounce, please. I like to add vanilla to almost everything.
1 ounce? How much mix did you put in?
It's not the predominant flavor, so I'm just enhancing it. All right, give me 2 ounces.
2? Oh, it's like Christmas, huh?
All right, 2 ounces of vanilla. And I'm going to add cookies. Try finding graham crackers. It's such an old product. I had to search the supermarket.
Look at this.
Now, the Speculoos.
You're a mess. Look
I
at
know
this.
I am.
Look at this. Look at
All
over
right.
here. Look over here.
All right, are you going to assist or are you going to complain?
I'm going to try to do both.
All right. Now, I'm going to... Well, I have a lot of mix in here. I've overfilled it, but I wanted to.
Show you a trick. On your floor in front of your machine, throw one of these, and then you can always just do that when stuff gets around. And then my kitchen in my store is right where people can see it. It's right behind the front counter.
You see what I'm doing? Don't try this with any other machine. You know, I realized that my 110 videos had come of age when a man called up and he said, "I have to be home for the next 2 weeks, playing mom," and he was in charge of the kids. So he put on my videos and had these the 5-year-old and the 3-year-old watching my videos to, like Sesame Street, to keep them occupied. And this is how I knew I'd come of age. He said that he walked by there and the 5-year-old turns to the 3-year-old. They see me putting cookies in. And the 5-year-old says to the 3-year-old, "Now don't try this with a tailor." I said, "That's it. That's the best award I could ever get." So I'm just dumping cookies in here. And you could adjust it to whatever you want, but you can't. Don't try this with any other machine. You won't be able to do it. You can't get them into the machine in the first
Where'd you
place.
get this?
I bought this Speculoos from Amazon.com. And I'll just throw a few more in for the camera. Now, what I could also do, but I'm too lazy, is I could take these cookies and break them up in my hand and shake in some pieces as it's coming out. But I'm not really like Oreo cookie trying to get the look of the Oreo. I'm more interested in the taste. The taste of this is supposed to be graham crackers. So what better than stuffing graham crackers in? You won't appreciate how important that is until you see another machine. You just can't do this stuff. And if you do, you'll void your warranty with them. So that's everything that's in there, and we're going to freeze that. I gave you the recipes. Did they pass that out? Okay. Any questions while that's running? Yes.
Many ice cream recipes call for a little bit of liquor, rum, a little bit. Is there a limit on how much you can use?
Putting liquor into ice cream, which we've done forever, but now it's become trendy. In fact, they've come up with this trendy term, liquor-infused ice cream. Well, infused just means you poured a bottle of rum into the ice cream. There are state laws about how much you can use. Surprisingly, the socialist state of New York allows you to put more in than just about anywhere else, where I'm from. But every state's different to where they have a limit to where you can get without having to get a liquor license. And it's always based on volume. So it's not that you can put a pint of rum in, it's a pint of rum to how much ice cream, which of course is any recipe. I mean, if you put 15 ounces of vanilla into this little machine, it would be way off, but if you were using the biggest machine, it would be actually a little bit under. So you can check with your state the difficulty with using liquor, and I like it. I like making liquor ice creams, but I reserve it to doing private tubs. I let it be known that if you're having a special party, I can sell you a party tub for $80 of rum raisin ice cream or Grand Marnier or Kahlua and cream. I get a real premium price for it. The problem we run into is parents. If you have, we had a store, let me backtrack. We had a store up in Connecticut who years ago was doing liquor ice creams. And you had two problems. One was the liquor ice cream costs more. And it's usually a kiss of death to have two price boards. You know, I'm $3 1/4 over here and I'm $5 over here. Well, they want to mix flavors and, well, how come my bill is, $11? It's terribly confusing. The other problem is that he solved was he put up a sign listing the liquor flavors, said you must be over 21 years of age to buy these ice creams. And it was really kind of funny. After school, this 16-year-old comes in, puffs up his chest and says, I'd like to have the rum raisin. Guy goes, let me see your driver's license. Oh, it's out in the car, I'll go get it. Or you get some old fart like me who comes in through the back door and says, my wife's next door shopping. Quick, give me some of that rum raisin ice cream. And so that's one of the problems you meet. But the biggest problem to me is parents don't like the idea that although they like to buy the rum raisin, they don't like a store that is selling liquor ice creams because their kids are going in it. And they're afraid their kids just might get hold of this stuff. So it does bring up a lot of benefits and a lot of potential problems. Now, this is ready. I usually pull ice cream out a little stiffer, but I'm going to do it the way Jeff does. And I'm turning off the refrigeration and watch how fast this comes out. I got all my color in here from the natural Speculoos, or however you pronounce it, product. There you go. I'm going to grab another tub. And that's how fast it is. Now we've got a new flavor that I don't think anybody has ever made that I'm aware of. And we'll see what you think. Hopefully it'll be more successful than Sharknado Italian Ice. Which, by the way, was cherry ice because it had to be blood red. It's a shark. And I told people, here's the recipe for free. It didn't take off. I had great hopes for it.
Come and get it.
Yeah, whatever it is, come and get it. Paula, will you be going out soon?
Yes.
Don't forget we need plates, please.
I have a question on
Yeah,
that.
okay. Ken, can you turn off my mic for a minute?
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
cooler room actually set up and be a little
In the
parlor?
freezer.
Okay, you put it in the freezer?
Sure. Right into the freezer.
What's your take on
On what? This?
adult ice cream?
Well, I just bought a new Corvette on adult ice cream.
I'm told it's hot in here. I'm going to turn up the air conditioning a bit.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for trying it.
All right, how is it? Is it good?
Blue Stingray?
I bought an '89 Corvette.
How is it, Jeff?
It's good. It's different, which is good.
It's different.
Yeah, different flavor,
Okay.
and that's good. It has a familiarity to it, which I can't figure out.
It's the graham crackers.
I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. Apple pie. Very good. That is what it tastes like.
I get a burnt sugar taste. That's a good.
That's a good thing. Yeah, I get that too. Because it's sweeter than an apple pie. It ain't bad for a first time. Yeah, maybe. Chocolate, yes.
Chocolate. She's right. Chocolate.
The
What do you want to do with this? Oh, you want to add it to that?
I'll take them both to Connie.
Okay.
The Italians make a product called stracciatella, which is a fancy name for chocolate chip ice cream. But what they do is they use a particular chocolate that melts at a very low point. And so as the ice cream is coming out, the vanilla ice cream, they're pouring it in, and it instantly hardens when it hits the ice cream. So it makes ribbons of chocolate as opposed to pieces of chocolate. And so I think maybe this product with the ribbons of chocolate,
What
the
is that called?
stracciatella,
Who makes that?
the Italians. It's a
The
gelato.
Italians? Just
The Italians in general, yes. Yes, the Irish don't make it.
So what kind of chocolate is that then? What melting point?
I would,
You know what it's like? It's like when they dip the Carvel cones into that coating, it gets hard right away.
yeah.
Smucker's makes a magic shell. And that's
Magic shell, that's it. Magic shell.
I think technically it would be called in Roebling chocolate, but I like his name better because you can buy it at the supermarket.
Okay. You have questions written down? Did anybody write any questions down on those pads you have?
Okay,
write
here's
some questions
the
down, because otherwise we're
Speculoos.
going to sit there and talk to each other. Yes, sir.
Try it. It's good. I did.
I'm sure you can.
Too cool in here?
I'm sure you can.
Oh, I have a separate thing.
I'm not a.
your take on the adult ice cream, sir?
Who said that? I'm
You
not
ready
a
for
big
the chair?
fan of flavorings and extracts, and I just don't use them. My philosophy is a little different. My philosophy is we grew up on Oreo cookies. We grew up on peanut butter. We grew up on all these flavors. So why not
Lisa, could you
replicate
give me a
those
hand?
flavors by using those
Can you
foods?
grab a chair?
The trick was to transform the foods into ice cream. And we did it. So that's what I use. I go to the store and I look for, we have time, where is he? Interesting story. We have time for an interesting story?
We've got question and answers. You can talk all you want.
Okay. Whenever I see an ethnic
Thank you.
market, whether it's Asian, whether it's Greek, whether it's Italian, West Indies, I see all these markets, I go right in. And I go towards the sweet aisle, and I look at what they're eating for sweets. Well, I went into a Hispanic Bravo supermarket, which is a large chain Latin supermarket, and I'm walking up the shelves, and I see a jug called horchata, Horchata. So I bought it. I didn't know. People walking down the aisle, I said, what do you do with this? They said they mix it in water and drink it. I said, is it good? And his eyes lit up, so I bought it. A couple of bucks. And I got back to the store, I opened it up, and I smelled it, and it is, damn, it's rice pudding. It smells like rice pudding. So I made ice cream with it, and I added raisins and a little cinnamon. And it's crazy good rice pudding ice cream. And those people who go for rice pudding, who grew up on rice pudding, they go right for it at the store. You'll find when you open your store that you'll have customers who always come in for coffee ice cream. That's it, coffee ice cream. Then you'll have a segment that always comes in for mint chocolate chip. That's what they want, mint chocolate chip. And you're hard-pressed to get them to change, to try something else, because that's what they like. I don't particularly like coffee ice cream. We make a great espresso chip ice cream, but it's not my thing. But I've had people come into the store, walk in 2 feet, ask the girls behind the counter, for instance, margarita, do you have margarita tonight? No, we're out of it. We have 40 flavors every day. They turn around and walk out. And one customer did this 3 times till I started making margarita again. So, you'll find that, and that's what happened with this horchata. I used to say horchata, but they said no, horchata. And it's rice pudding ice cream. It's killer rice pudding ice cream, but it's only rice pudding ice cream.
In California, we can, per batch, you can only add 3 ounces of alcohol without having a liquor license. So we're pretty limited in order to
Get a liquor license.
$60,000,
3 ounces to what volume?
2.5 gallon mix.
Whoa.
3%. 3%.
Oh, 3%.
Minnesota's 2%, which is worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little bit about, Jeff can tell stories about me. I'll
Talk
tell
to me
stories
after.
about Jeff's business. He is on the edge of the largest retirement community, probably in the United States. And I'm a long way from there, age-wise, but there are, when you get to that age, your significant other, aka spouse, says, okay, you've had 2 helpings of the meatloaf tonight, and I saw you eat a roll and a half. You're cut off, kitchen's closed. So, all right, that's it. I can't get any more food. But about an hour and a half later, hey, let's go over to Jeff's place and get a little bit of ice cream. And, of course, that's okay because it's not coming out of the kitchen. It's just something separate. So they all pile into their vehicles, and they go to Jeff's. And Jeff is only open from 6 o'clock at night till 10 at night. And he's catering to all these retired people with an incredibly large sweet tooth. And they will come in, and Jeff serves one size fits all. It's huge. And if you want a smaller one, you can't have it. If you want a bigger one, get out. You can't do that in most ice cream parlors, but it allows him to handle an incredibly high volume of people by having all these wonderful flavors. But he's not worrying about milkshakes and banana splits. And I said I wanted butterscotch on my topping, and you put toffee, though I don't know the difference. And that all goes away. So he has looked at his market. This is my point. He's looked at his market and figured out what it is that they want and run with it. And it's absolutely fantastic. That's what you want to do in setting up your business, whether it's Italian ices or sorbet. Sometimes I'll set up a sugar, water, and flavor business in a very upscale town. And Italian ice, in some parts of the country, they just haven't heard of it. So they call it sorbet, or they call it fresh fruit ices. You can call it anything you want. You don't want to go selling a $10 product in a low-income neighborhood because they, quite frankly, can't afford it. So what Jeff has done very well, to his credit, is he's looked at his market. He said they can afford this comfortably, and I'm going to give them a good product. And part of a good product is moving the traffic. If you've got to stand in line for 40 minutes, I don't care how good you are, you're just going to get like the guy who didn't have the margarita flavor. They're going to walk out on you. So it's just something to think about. You want to design the business, your ideas, of course, are important, but also take a look at what the market there is looking for.
Now, that being said, when I first opened, I had 3 sizes of ice cream. I had $2, $3, and $5. 3 cups there, $2, $3, and $5. What did everybody buy? They bought $2. And after maybe 5 days, I said, this isn't going to work. I'm not busting my hump for $2 ice creams. So I eliminated the 2 right off the counter. Now I had $3 and $5. What did they buy? They bought $3 ice creams. So it was a week and a half later that I got rid of that. One price, $5. That's it. And now it's 5 years later, and that same ice cream is only at $6 because you can't go higher. I can never go higher than $6 because somebody's coming in with a preconceived notion of ice cream and they're not going to spend $7 or $8 on it. It's just not going to happen. You may get the occasional person going into Kilwins or something or on the boardwalk who will spend $7 or $8, but as a regular ice cream neighborhood store, it's just not going to happen. So my challenge as we grow is to keep my costs stable or lower to make that same product that I can sell for $6. And there's tons of ways to do it.
Does the fact that they're on a fixed income have any effect?
No.
Is it because it's a wealthy retirement community?
No,
per se?
not per se wealthy. Ice cream is what we all know ice cream is. It's a luxury, but it's an affordable luxury. Everybody can afford $6 to go out and get homemade ice cream. And if you and your wife want to go out for the night, because I teach this in my class, to make your place a destination. Make it someplace that people want to go other than let's grab some ice cream. And if that's the case, if you succeed at that, then you've got a place where for $12 for a couple, you can come and spend some time and enjoy yourselves. It's almost a night out. And that's what I want to do. I want to fill seats. Right now we seat about 110 people. And I want to make sure that we do that every night to capacity twice. That's my goal. I don't care if they buy an ice cream and sit for 4 hours. That's fine. But I want the place full all the time.
And Jeff started with the 6-quart countertop CB350.
A year and a half I ran with that machine. You had a question, sir.
What's your markup? If you're saying, okay, my question to you is, I had a chocolate shop. My markup was 600%.
How much?
600%.
Wow.
On chocolate. I
Wow.
was $2 a pound, I sold at 12. So
Wow.
what was your markup on your product that you weren't able to sell a $2, $3, $5?
Oh, I was able to sell it. I just didn't want to. I wanted to make money faster.
So you were just looking at the turnover?
Yeah, I wanted to make money faster. And also, it took me about 3 days to decide I don't want kids in the store. Because we started like everybody else with cones and kids. That's ice cream. Well, the cones, the ice cream falls on the floor. And if they don't eat it fast enough, it drips all over the place. They use up more napkins. And in my place, there's a lot of stuff around. And they're constantly touching and breaking. And then I introduced adult flavors, which is alcohol-infused ice cream. And it's not a kid place. We do get kids, but remember, we're only open at night for 4 hours, 6 to 10. Sometimes we're there later, but it's a nighttime place. So generally, we don't get a lot of kids. And when we do, never mind, it's great. I forget that it's more than you guys here.
I'm curious, how many people are here just going into Italian ices? Anybody just going into Italian ices? Okay, so you're looking at everything. That's great.
There are some problems with shotgunning the frozen desserts.
What do you mean by that?
Well, by selling Italian ices, cream ices, and ice cream. There are some inherent problems in doing that in one store, but that's for another time.
Oh, I'm curious. Now you got to tell us. I'm curious. Briefly, what is it? What do you mean?
Well, briefly, if you sell, that's one of the reasons. If you sell a premium ice cream, which is what we make here and what I make and what you all come to like, and then you also have Italian ices, the flavor of the Italian ice is going to be barely significant compared to your ice cream. It's watery, it's lackluster. By itself, if you have an Italian ice place, sure, you compare cherry to chocolate to lemon, and you get all those great flavors, even exotic ices flavors. But if you put them side by side to ice cream, nobody wants the ices. It just doesn't cut it.
That happened to us in Toronto.
Yeah, it just doesn't make it. And I did it. I have a successful business, a very successful business. And so I thought, well, I can make ices. I can make the best damn ices in the world. I make the best ice cream. So I did. I made ices, and I gave it away for a couple of nights. And good customers came up and said, next to your ice cream, this is just lukewarm water. It's nothing.
Question.
Yes, Steve, I don't know if you remember when we first spoke, I mentioned a place in Belleville, New Jersey, and you said your dad serviced that called Jackie's.
Yeah, I used to. The question is a place in Belleville, New Jersey called Jackie's. Yes, I used to go to it. He also sold Christmas trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my thought was, I wanted to do lemon ice, and I wanted to just buy buy maybe carts and had 10 carts around Vero Beach, everyone in.
Great idea. Great idea. His question was he wanted to sell lemon ice out of carts. I have people going through my class, and the first day we ask, what are your plans? And a lot of them want to do carts. And I've had people come through the class, and now they have dozens of carts in a regional area. And they have a warehouse in the morning. Their guys come, they load up the cart on a little trailer or whatever, and they go out to all these areas. It's cash, it's great, and it's profit out the wazoo.
Well, see, this is my son Patrick, and Patrick is about to graduate school in another year. And I've been wrestling with what's the logistics of this? Where do I keep the machines to make it? How do I get it to the carts? Where do the carts stay at night?
A storage facility is a great idea. You can start with a 10 by 10 as long as you have a place to keep your carts. And then you can make it out of there. You can get permits. Where do you live? Oh, you live in Vero. You can get permits in Florida to work out of a storage.
I had a customer up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and Bridgeport is the quintessential poorest city in the United States of America. And these guys are doing Italian ices on the beach. I didn't even know Bridgeport had a beach, but they were going to do push carts on the beach, and that's how we set them up in business. They went into the poorest part of town, in the poorest town, because it was low rent, and that's what they wanted, was very low rent, because they're just going to make the ice, put in the carts, and send the carts out. The business is the carts. The production was a very inexpensive place. Well, something neither of us saw was they're in this poor community, and they have a product that sells for about $1.50. All of a sudden, someone starts knocking on the door. Hey, mister, can I buy an ice? And then another one, can I buy an ice? Enough people knocked on the door that they said, why don't we just hire someone and put a dipping cabinet out front, and while we're doing our wholesale ices, we'll sell some retail. To this day, they're doing more business out the front door retail than out of the push carts. But you just never know.
But of course, that doesn't have to be. Carts are a legitimate segment of the market, highly profitable. Just remember that it's a cash deal. So when you send people out, if they're not blood relatives, there's going to be some skim.
Well,
but
before I thought I would look maybe to hire veterans who potentially might become their business.
Right.
You work this for 3 years and you own it.
Well, however you decide to do it, it's an absolutely legitimate segment of the market, highly profitable, and a lot of fun, because your workday is always at great fairs and festivals. The little bit of a problem is with those things, you usually have to book the fair like 6 months in advance. If you hit bad weather, you don't even go out because it's a wash. And that $1,200 you paid for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is gone. But for the most part, if you do it in Florida, if you do it in Georgia, if you do it in the Panhandle, you got a great business.
There are 4 or 5 farmer markets open every Friday, Saturday morning.
Great idea. Great idea.
I introduced an idea a year ago, and it's become very successful, and I'm happy about it. The CB350 came out we designed that about 3.5 years ago, and we've sold over 4,000 of them, and each machine ends up hiring about 11 people. So I claim that I've put more people in business than Obama. But the point is, it's an inexpensive product to produce. Now, let's pick where we are here in Brooksville, Florida, the middle of nowhere, just north of Tampa. And people want to get into the Italian ice business. You have the money to buy an Emery Thompson, and so we set you up in business. There's 20 other people within a 10, 15-mile range who would like to do the same thing. They've lost their job. They don't want to go on welfare. They want to keep working, but there isn't any hope of finding a job here in Brooksville at this time. So they look into, we have a customer called Little Jimmy's up in Elizabeth, New Jersey. We have Rosati in Philadelphia, Via Veneto in Ohio. These places all around the country. They're my customers, they large production wholesale businesses. And they will sell, again, this 3-gallon tub is going to cost about $4, maybe $5 at the absolute extreme to make. They're selling it for about $27 up front. But then for that $27, it's in Elizabeth, New Jersey. You have to ship it down to Florida, which means they have a minimum order of close to $1,000. $1,000 worth of product, you don't have enough freezer cabinets. You have to go out and rent space because you don't have the money to build a walk-in freezer. So now you're paying $27 for the tub. You're paying shipping costs. You're paying storage costs. Your cost is about $65 a tub. And people are thrilled to pay $65 a tub because it's grossing them $140 per tub in retail sales. And that's a nice little profit. So you are set up with me. I've set you up in the Italian ice business. And I tell you, once you get established, let the word out that you make Italian ice and you're willing to sell to another guy with a push cart. You know, too many of these people in this business for too long, and it's why I've made all these videos, have said, oh, it's a secret business. You can't possibly get into it. You have no chance of ever getting to Italian ice. Well, that's a lot of bull. I tell you everything you need to know on the videos. So by letting the word out that you will sell Italian ices, they can come to you and buy their ices, charge $22, $25 a tub. You're making a nice, handsome profit. By them making them pick it up, you're not having to buy a truck. You're not dealing with the DOT. You're not operating drivers, keeping logs. Let them come to you. They call you on Tuesday and say, okay, on Friday I need 3 tubs of lemon, 2 of mango, 4 of cherry. They've placed their order, and you've been working with them so you know they're going to show up with the cash. If they don't show up and stiff, you never sell to them again. But you can do that, and you are putting other people in the business. They're making money. And you do that times 20 customers, and you've got yourself a real nice wholesale business on top of the push carts. You had to be there anyway to make the ice for the push carts. Why not be there a little bit longer?
And the point is there's a place for every person at every level in this business, from a push cart to a vendor, a mobile vendor, you know, a truck, which are really popular now. To sharing space in a store, to your own place, to your own building. You can go everywhere.
Do the carts themselves need refrigeration at the local cart?
Not the cart, but the ices do.
Oh.
And they make, Steve has a product
You
here.
reminded me. I'll show you something.
Just walk right in front. Steve has
I'm not going to walk behind you.
So if I sell a tub
There's a few ways to keep it cold on premise.
What about the public outlet?
Was Jeff saying something? Where is he? Oh, this is a great idea. Before, what we used was either dry ice, which is hard to get and inexpensive, or something called a brine slug, B-R-I-N-E.
Or electricity.
Or electricity and plug it in. But you can't always plug in on a beach. A brine slug, you know what it is. It's if you've ever made lunch for your children and you put one of those little blocks of blue ice in it, that's technically a brine slug. In a good quality, it's not just filled with water, it's filled with salt water or antifreeze, something we can freeze really cold and it'll stay a long time. Here is a giant version of a brine slug. This is double-walled. These sell for about $85. Carlisle Manufacturing makes them. You can buy them through the web store. Is it Web Restaurant Supply?
Web Restaurant.
Web Restaurant Supply. They come in either white or black. They have a domed lid. Don't buy the domed lid because then you can't stack them. And I froze this down last night. I'll pass it around. That is super cold. And I have put a 2.5-gallon tub or a 3-gallon, either one. You have the ice in your freezer, which is already pretty well frozen for the day. You put it in there. You just drop it right in. And now you've got 4 or 5 hours easily of refrigeration. No cost refrigeration for your tub. These things are great. And at $85, you buy 6 of them. It's a lot cheaper than buying a refrigerated cart. You want a refrigerated cart if you're going to do fairs because you're going to be there all day and you're going to be 100 miles from home. But if you're working the beach or you're working the boulevard, this is a nice, simple way to do it.
You know, I think why wouldn't every pizzeria in town want to offer lemon ice to their menu where they, you know, guys sell them a tub of lemon ice for a couple of days?
Yeah, the question is why doesn't every pizza parlor have lemon ice? In New York, there's no such thing as a pizza parlor with Italian ice. You walk in and you buy a slice and an ice. That's what we have always done all our lives, is buy a slice and an ice. I'll tell you why it's not in there, though. It's kind of interesting. Do I have time? Am I boring you? Just wanted to check. Okay.
Not me you have to worry about.
I walk into your pizza parlor, and I say, you buy this $10,000 machine, you buy $300 worth of flavors and tubs. You spend $1,500 on a serving cabinet, and you're in the ices business. How great! The guy's going, gee, that's a lot of money for something I'm not even sure is going to sell. Gino's Italian Ice up in New York walks in and says, hey, we make Italian ice. I'm going to give you the first 3 tubs for free. I'm going to give you the cups for free for those 3 tubs. And you know what? I'm going to put in a dipping cabinet for free. And the guy says, I got nothing to lose. Everything's for free to get me going. If it doesn't work, I send them away. Nothing is for free. He was charging $12 a tub if you pick it up at his place back then. But if he supplies the dipping cabinet, it's $14 a tub. So for every tub he sells you, he's making $2 towards that dipping cabinet. He started off with 1 pizza parlor on Long Island and took the money that he made from selling to that pizza parlor and went out and bought another dipping cabinet, his biggest expense. And now he's got 2 stores. He now has over 900 stores that he services. And if you get a wise guy like Jeff who's always thinking, and he says, you know what, I've been buying from you for 4 years, and you're charging me $14 a tub, and I have that free cabinet, and I know there's no such thing as a free lunch. How much are you going to charge me if I buy my own cabinet? Fine, I'll sell it to you for $12. He pulls his cabinet out. Jeff goes, buys one, and now he's moved his cabinet to another pizza parlor. Hey, I can put you in the Italian ice business for free. So it's absolutely wonderful, but you have to go into the approach to the guy. It's a brand new product. He's not sure if he knows pizza. He's not sure Italian ice is going to sell, but what has he got to lose? He tries it through 3 tubs, and if it doesn't work, he calls you up and you pull it out. And unless he is an absolute, terrible at selling, it's going to sell in the store because those people buying a pizza are always buying a Coke or a Pepsi. So it's going to just sell beautifully. Also, pizza is normally a take-home item. You buy a pie and you take it home. Well, hell, as long as I'm buying a pie and you're wrapping it up, I'll take 2 pints of lemon ice that you've prepackaged. Give me a lemon and a cherry or a mango and a coconut, and I'll take them home to the family. So the two complement each other beautifully.
And there's another way to do it also that's endless. If you approach that same pizza parlor and say, listen, I want to rent 20 square feet here, and I'll give you $100 a week. Just let me rent the space. Bring in your own stuff and sell it and keep the money for yourself and just pay him a small rent. When he sees how popular you are, he'll increase the rent, but you'll still make tons of money because you've got a customer base walking right past your place every day.
A slice and a nice. Question?
What about health department and license issues in terms of cardiac?
Do what they tell you.
What?
Do what they tell you.
Well,
that's it.
There is a mobile permit you have to get.
Yeah.
Every town, every city is going to be different.
Just do what they tell you.
But what
Florida
about
is by the
the
state.
production of it, though?
The what?
Like you were saying, you could produce it
In a storage facility, right.
It's a wholesale. It's a wholesale manufacturer's dessert license.
Okay, so you still have to do.
Sure, you need a 3-bay sink, you need a hand sink, a mop sink, you need the floor to be a certain material. You know, you have to comply.
The equipment doesn't necessarily have to be.
It's referred to as a commissary.
When I opened up, I knew nothing. I was like you guys.
You took this course.
I knew nothing, but I opened the store, and each step of the way, I was told what I need to do, and you just do it.
Now, when I'll get to you in a second. When you're opening up a new business, you have to work with the health department. My father used to say, give him $50 or shoot him and throw him in the dumpster. I said, Dad, times have changed. You can't do that anymore in the Bronx. He said, fine, give him $100. But his point was, you have to work with them. They're going to send in They're going to send in a 22-year-old kid with a book this thick of rules and regulations. He's driving a Ford with no chrome on it, and he works for a bureaucrat who he's terrified of.
And the first thing you do is give him ice cream.
Yes. And then the second thing is you start a diary. His name's Phil. So Phil says, I want a dairy tile floor in here. I want dairy tile walls. I want the 3-compartment sink. You write it all down. You call up me. You call up Jeff. And I would say, is your floor cement? Yeah. Okay. Go back to the inspector and say, I know you want a dairy tile floor. Can I do a 2-stage epoxy paint? And so when Phil comes in the next time, hey, Phil, I know you wanted that $3,000 dairy floor. Could I do a 2-stage epoxy paint? Yeah, that's fine. Write it down. His boss comes February 15th to inspect the store before it opens. Hey, what's with this floor? Phil approved it on January 15th. Oh, okay. He's not going to go against his own employee because that would mean he didn't train him right.
But the more important lesson there is that it works. You know, a floor painted properly is fine.
But you've got to stand up for your rights. You had a question?
No, quick remarks. In my town, in my church, just built $1 million facility that's got a fantastic commercial kitchen, and they will literally rent to people who want to come in and prepare meals and use their facilities. I mean, there's a lot of kitchen space out there.
Tons.
That can be used that I don't think you even have to get permitted because it's already permitted.
And bakeries and restaurants.
Yeah, be creative. You're right. Go to the churches. And
the bottom line is,
anywhere.
if you want to make money with frozen desserts, the opportunities, in my opinion, are more extensive than maybe any other product I can think of. It's recession-proof. It's geography-proof. It's an all-the-time thing. And whichever one you go into, I'm not a big fan of soft serve. I'm not a big fan of frozen yogurt, but they make a lot of money. And ice cream and ices and cream ice or sherbet, there's just no end to it. And where you set up, people ask me all the time, how much do I need to start? Big question. And you can start with $15,000. I started with 13. And, you know, we've done well. But you can. I had people go through my camp, and they have $2 million, and they're nervous because they're opening up on Catalina Island. And they have the apex on the boardwalk there. They have 400 square feet, upstairs, downstairs. They have no room at all. And he had $2 million, and he was seriously nervous about not being overfunded, not being funded sufficiently. So everything's relative. And a cart, when people come to me and they want to get in really inexpensively, start with a cart, even buy your ice cream from somebody or your ices. But very soon you're going to make your own, and then you're going to have 2 carts, and then you're going to have 6 carts, and on and on. So it's a doable thing.
There's only 2 things you can't do in the frozen dessert business. One is you can't think that you're only going to work 3 hours a day because you're going to work long hours. And you can't run absentee management. You've got to be there. Yes?
But that's pretty true in every business.
Oh, but you get so many accountants and lawyers who want to get into this because they think, oh, we can run it as a second business. No, you can't. It's a people business.
Right.
Yes?
On the 44 quart unit, you have water-cooled only comes in 3-phase.
Yes.
And then for 220, it's air-cooled. Right?
The question is about the 44-quart batch freezer. It's the only model that comes only in 3-phase because the compressor is a 6-horsepower discus, and they do not manufacture anything that large in single phase. Okay. You can do single phase by making it a remote air-cooled condensing unit. Then we can do single phase.
Okay. Doing that, it's not going to, the life of the machine and the compressors in that, being water-cooled versus that, is that going to be a problem?
The difference between air-cooled and water-cooled, not the way we build them.
Just the heat coming off it.
Just the heat coming off. See, the problem where air-cooled gets a bad rap is people think, well, I've got this BTU compressor and water-cooled, I can use it in air-cooled. You can't. They're 2 different animals. You have to take into the fact that it's running up in Kennebunkport, Maine in the dead of winter, and it's also running in August in Dubai. And the condensing unit has to be able to do that. That's why we only buy Copeland, which is American-made, and we buy the Scroll, which is their top of the line. It's like it's a rotary engine. And these things, when we design them, because we've been doing this 110 years, we size them to work under any conditions. We sell exclusively to the United States Marine Corps every 20 years new batch freezers. And they go to some of the most exotic places in the world because wherever troops are, you got to give them a break. And you can't necessarily bring them steak and beer, so ice cream and ices are extremely popular. We're on the nuclear submarine. We're on the nuclear aircraft carriers. We used to be on the old nuclear subs, but we put machines into the most extreme of conditions.
Now, can you, out of that machine, can you run a smaller batch?
Except for these two machines here, which have to be full batches, you can run a half batch of any flavor. But I have people calling up and they say, oh, I'm going to do 30 flavors, but I only want to do half batches. Then you're buying the wrong size machine. You're also not forward thinking. Right. You're thinking, this is what I'm doing today. I never think about what I'm doing today. I am always 5 years out, 10 years out. You can't run a successful business unless you think 5 and 10. Because otherwise it'll be 5 years tomorrow and you'll go, where'd the time go and why am I so shortchanged? You got to think further out.
And
yes.
Go ahead.
We buy a road pack. Do you have a source for those cardboard containers?
Yes, there's a couple. Well, this is cold in here. It's going to chill my coffee. The cardboard containers, you'd have to look on my website. There's companies there listed.
I looked at the three you have containers.
Negative, they're just a fold-out cardboard.
Oh, you're talking about, do I have one here, this thing?
Yes.
This deadly thing?
Yes.
Oh, you don't want this. Anybody who has, see that ring around there? I can look at anybody who's in the business using this container, and I want to see the scars on their hands from the multiple stitches they got being cut by that ring.
Well, the challenge is those road packs are approaching about $5 now, maybe $5. You said just with the top and
on these,
yes.
Then you're buying the wrong product. These are about $1.50.
Cambro. Oh,
yeah.
Well,
what do you pay for these?
What are you going to use them for?
Road pack will not sell directly to me because they say I have to go through a distributor who's marking them up.
What are you going to use them
What
for?
are you going to do?
Wholesale. We sell a lot of ice cream, but they're not coming back.
They're not coming back?
Some of them are.
Yeah.
I think you have the...
What are you paying for these, Jeff?
I don't use them.
What, you don't use these?
No.
Oh, that's right. Use different containers. You shouldn't only be paying about $1.50 at the most for these. Someone's really pricing you wrong. Go to the internet. I don't buy anything from distributors. I buy everything over the internet by price. All the plastic in here I have bought over the internet on who had the best price.
Usually Amazon is your best bet.
Yeah, because 2.5 is 2.5. You shouldn't be using cardboard unless it's for wholesale.
That's what we use for wholesale.
Yeah.
We use gelato pans in our dipping store.
Why not put a deposit on them? You know, work a deposit situation.
They don't want, it takes up room in a very tight kitchen. They don't want it. They just soon throw them out.
Well, I would pick them up more often then.
It doesn't work. It's got to be disposable.
We have some accounts, like some dipping stores we sell to, will return them because they're captive, but the restaurants, as soon as the chef sees the bottom of it, he chunks in.
Yeah, they throw them out. It's too much labor and too much space. You got to shop around. Your prices are way too high. I would at least talk to Plastic Can in Leominster, Massachusetts. Plastican. They're one of the largest. Ropack is the next largest.
That's who we buy from now.
Well, you got to shop it around because your salesman has gotten so comfortable making money off you that you got to honest them up.
Try plasticcontainercity.com.
Oh, that sounds good.
That's where I used to get mine. plasticcontainercity.com.
Yes.
Clever name.
I want to ask Jeff how many gallons a year you're making?
A year?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know. I make about 110 a week.
110 gallons a week. And how many days a week are you making ice cream? Every day?
No. Depends. If I'm going to do a marathon, sometimes I'll go into the store at midnight and work till 6 a.m. Sometimes I'll go in at 8 in the morning, work till 11. It just depends.
Like how many days a week?
Depends. I can, if I do a full day one week where I work for 10 hours making ice cream, I don't have to make ice cream the rest of the week. If I can churn out 100 gallons or so.
With an Emery Thompson batch freezer, you can run it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's going to last 45 years. But you can't work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The alternative, which I keep stressing to people, almost everybody working here is ex-military, except me. It wasn't by design. It was by people who have military background know how to show up for work. I mean, and how to get a job done. The other two groups who know how to do that are police and fire. Paula's father was a New York police officer, and every police officer on earth has a second job. These people are not going to steal your formulas. They're not interested in going to the ice cream business. And besides, if they want to steal your formulas, they can buy Jeff's book. So don't worry about that. You need someone who is reliable and honest, and who better than a police officer to come in at 2 in the morning and make ice cream till 6 a.m. while you're sleeping because your demand is so high. Your biggest cost going forward is always going to be labor. And one way to cut down on the labor is buy a second Emery Thompson or a bigger Emery Thompson. But in the interim, you run the machine more hours. So just keep that in mind. I used to say, oh, you can hire women who have a child in school because they need the extra income. But it's just not reliable because children get sick and all of a sudden everything's got to be dropped. No fault there. But policemen, firemen, military, they are wonderful, wonderful employees who will get the job done for you. And all they have to do is follow your formula. Here's our official head of security, speaking of military.
So to answer your question, how much time I spend making ice cream, I would say what I used to do is every other day about 3.5 hours. That's what I used to do. But I have a 20-quart Emery Thompson, and I make, my batches are 6 to 7 gallons per flavor. So, you know, if I have to make 8, 10 flavors, not bad. As long as I show people how to set it up so that when you're making one, you're on the third one already. You know, you've got everything ready to go. It's not hard. It's believe me, you guys can do it. What?
Are you serving in gelato containers? Or
No. I use 1 gallon Cambro.
1 gallon?
1 gallon. No air. Nice seal. Easy for the girls to get it from the back room to the front.
In a conventional dipping box?
No, don't use those either.
Not a glass front?
Oh, no. Sam's Club freezers.
Yes.
150
How much
bucks.
time do you spend on R&D for new flavors? If I put it that way?
All the time.
I don't spend any time, but I spend all the time. Like the other day when I wanted Reese's peanut butter cup ice cream. My problem is too many flavors. You know, I've got 40 going now, and I'd like to have 100, but it's not practical. You're not going to sell 100 flavors. Right now, out of the 40, I guess we rotate easy 30 of them all the time. 10 of them are, you know, they sit, which is another reason I use 1 gallon containers. The life of the product is stretched out enormously. You can't hurt it. 1 gallon containers, no air in there. The only thing you got to worry about is air and temperature. The freezers will take care of the temperature. The containers will take care of the air. If you had this size container, now I'm actually lying a little bit. Up front, I have 6 flavors that are just constant, and I do have them in 3 gallon containers with 1 gallon backups. But there's no air getting in, and the temperature's pretty good. And I use cheap freezers. They break, you throw them out. They're 150 bucks. The $150 ones hold 16 gallons of ice cream in 1 gallon containers. The $200 ones hold 22. And we also do on-premise parties and catering, if you will. And I take those freezers, and they're on little moving company dollies, and I just roll it up onto a, you want to make money, you talk to me, I'll tell you how to make money. And I just roll them up onto a little trailer that I bought for $300, and off we go. And we do parties and socials. We do about 2 a week with a minimum of 75 people at $6 person, all you can eat. So we do okay. You know, if I can grab 500 bucks twice a week just doing these little socials, and I have a girl do it and comes back to the store, you know, that's pretty good. You know, you do 100 of them a week, you know, it's okay.
If there's
All goes into the pot. No, 2 a week, 100 a year. Last year we did 120 socials. And that's independent of people using our place for private parties. You know, we can either rope off, we have 2 rooms, we can rope off a room, and they hire my DJ, my entertainment, or they can have it when we're not open. We're only open 6 to 10, so they can have a party from 3 to 6 at our place.
We're going to take a break for lunch. One other thing, there's a magazine, there's very little publications for the frozen dessert business. National Dipper Magazine is one of them. You don't have to write it down. I'm going to give you this. They just sent me the 2015 source book, which is absolutely invaluable. And it lists a lot of different companies and different products. So I'm going to give those out to you. Please just take one per couple if you're couples. If you need more of them, I've got them. But let's take a lunch break, and then we're going to come back and make more ice cream and ices.
We're going to make very, very delicious coconut ice cream. I started with this recipe, and it's in the book. And also, after about a year, like I said, the one trouble point is you get tired of doing things. So somebody asked for Mounds Bar ice cream. So I simply swirled in dark chocolate to the coconut, and it was Mounds Bar ice cream. You can make it also Almond Joy ice cream by swirling in almonds and milk chocolate. But let's keep it simple today because the coconut ice cream is, I think it's the best thing I've ever made. So coconut ice cream. And you don't have to write it, it's in the book. We're going to do a half batch, which is what I'm doing in these machines. And we're going to start with 5 quarts of mix. So, in we go with 5 quarts of mix. Yes. Did you want me to look at you while I do this, or? Go ahead.
When are you swirling in the chocolate as it's coming out?
Everybody will tell you that you should swirl it in as the ice cream's being extruded. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It dissolves too much into the ice cream. The ice cream comes out too fast for you to do that, to make a true variegate. So I came up with a way to do it. We're not going to do it today because I didn't plan any of that, but I did it on one of the other videos. You can watch it. What I do is I extrude the ice cream into a 3-gallon or a 5-gallon, and then on top of it, after it's sitting on the counter, after I put it into the counter, I pour my concoction. It could be chocolate fudge. It could be jelly, because I make peanut butter and jelly ice cream. It could be anything that you want to add. And you simply pour it on top and then give it a few folds. And then when you take it, you squeeze the container, pour it into your serving containers, and it makes the best damn stripes you ever saw. It's the way to do it. Now, those 2 guys in the back, they went through one of my classes, and they told me today that they make a layered ice cream, which I wrote down because this sounds unbelievable. They take a 16 by 4 by 4 inch loaf pan, line it with saran wrap, and then put one flavor in it and put it in the freezer. Then they make their other flavor, their second flavor, put it on top of that, put it in the freezer. They make their third flavor, put it in. When the 3 flavors are there, they turn it upside down, take the saran wrap, which you'll get it loose, peel off the saran wrap, and they slice it onto waffles the same size. They're probably 4-inch square waffles. Yes? And they slice it onto that. Wow. Wow. I mean, really. That, can you imagine 3 beautiful stripes when it's no problem to do it? What a cool thing. So tomorrow I'm going to do that because it sounds excellent. You don't have to put them on waffles. You know, I could take a nice big slab, put it in my waffle bowl that we make, and there it is. It looks great. What a great idea. So anyway, there's ideas for the variegate, which always works, and this, which I'm sure is going to be great. Okay, so we have our 5. Isn't this great? It's like Julia Child here. We have the 5 quarts of mix. Sugar. 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 Now, by the way, remember we talked before about adapting your recipes? In the book, it lists, I believe, for 5 quarts, 28 ounces of sugar. And if you look at my card, I put next to the 28 ounces an arrow with less with a question mark, which meant that maybe the last time it was a little too sweet. So I'm going to change it. Maybe I changed, maybe the sweetness of the coconut changed, something changed. So you have to be willing to adapt. What Steve says about being exactly the same, I don't buy into that. It's homemade ice cream. And, you know, sometimes you'll see. if you make fruit ice cream, sometimes the mangoes are going to be not as sweet as other times. And rather than just dumping in sugar, maybe you add a touch of honey or something, but it's going to have a different flavor. Yes?
Doesn't the mix have some sugar in it?
Very little.
Very little.
Yeah, the mix is mainly heavy cream, skim milk, milk solids, and milk fat. There is some sugar. There's also some stabilizers in there, but it's insignificant, in my opinion. What do I know? So we're going to add the sugar. Now, sugar in the machines, it is something you have to pay attention to because sugar is like grit. It's sandpaper. So what I do is I start the machine and very slowly pour the sugar in so that it's not grinding the metal or whatever. I don't think it would hurt it, but I don't take any chances. This is the lifeblood of your world, the batch freezer. So they are bulletproof. I haven't had a lick of problem with mine, but you want to just, treat it with the respect it deserves. Spoken like an idiot. Okay, super premium ice cream, start. And this goes at 170, which is super premium ice cream. And we'll put the sugar in slowly and carefully so that it has time to mix. Of course, it's his machine. I don't really care. Just dump it right in. The next ingredient is, this is the good stuff. This is Ansell shredded coconut. Amazon or web restaurant. Though that's where I really do a lot of shopping now, Amazon and web restaurant. And if you lie to web restaurant and tell them your address is a business, you get cheaper shipping. Because, it doesn't really matter. So this goes in there. And how much of this? 64 ounces, which coincidentally happens to be what this can is. And you'll see it's shredded coconut. Can't hear you when the water's running. I'm making a half batch. Because when I make it, I use 10 quarts of mix, but I have a machine that's twice this size. I started with the small machine, and the small machine went a year and a half for me. And it's actually what built my business, the small machine. Okay, I use 1 can of this. It's Coco Lopez. And I noticed that Steve had this hanging around. This is Goya. Same thing, same size can. And it's cream of coconut. Just gives it a real smooth.
How many ounces is on the can?
This can?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because this says 42 ounces in there, so no way that's...
15 ounces. Don't forget it. Is that for a 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay. Oh, this is good stuff here. And then the last thing, which isn't in the book, I happened to buy coconut flakes. And I bought a lot because I didn't give it much thought. I bought like a 50-pound bag of this stuff. So, I mean, it's huge. It takes up a lot of... So any chance I get to use it, I use it. These are coconut flakes. So why not? It's coconut ice cream. And just dump them right in.
So last night you had a filet mignon with coconut flake dressing?
Correct.
I thought.
Okay, and I think that's it. Is that it? Now, I could also add coconut milk, but I ran out, and I figured it's only you guys. Coconut milk, they're 99 cents a can. You've seen it, right? Coconut milk it is. And you can get that at the Restaurant Depot in cases for 24 cans to a case, and it's pretty cheap. It's like $20.
The little cans, not the coconut milk beverage that they sell in the dairy aisle, correct?
Correct. They call it coconut milk. It's very Latin. and it's coconut milk. It's in like a soda can, about that size, and you have to shake it. And it's really a pain to open all those cans, but you do it. But I normally add like 3-4 cans to this, but I ran out, and I didn't want to buy it just for his class.
We don't want to taste this ice cream.
Whoa. Yes. Well, I discovered that if I throw a can of cream of coconut in it, it's pretty good too. And that's why it's really important for you to keep, not to keep changing, but to keep making this your own. Let's turn on the... Now, speaking of timers, I have a different timer. My timer counts elapsed time. His goes down, like 12 minutes, 11 minutes, 10 minutes. Mine goes up. And the reason I have a timer, it's just a cheap little timer. The reason I have one is so that whenever I'm working, I can always glance over and make sure I turn the refrigeration on. Because I can't tell you that I used to work for 15 minutes and worry about the ice cream and never turn the refrigeration on. It won't hurt anything, but it just takes longer. So the reason, I'm glad I brought this, it says less. Now today I added less. Instead of 28 ounces, I added 20 ounces. Or I'm sorry, 18 ounces. Just because the last time I had it, maybe it was a little too sweet. Maybe a customer said something to me, you know, it's awfully sweet. I like sweet ice cream. I like sweet ice cream and very flavorful ice cream. But maybe I, will adapt this a little bit. Same thing with coffee. You can fall so in love with coffee ice cream that you keep adding more coffee to it. And before you know it, it tastes like her first pot this morning. It's vile. It was a little strong. So just gotta, it's homemade ice cream. And this is the most important thing. Your store is going to reflect what you think great ice cream is. It's not what I think. You may taste this today and say, oh, God, that's awful, which is what I said when I sat here like you guys the first time. I said, boy, that guy's ice cream sucks. It stinks. It's no good. And that's what caused me to make it mine. And when you come to my store, you'll taste what I think is the best ice cream in the world. It won't be what you think, what you make, because what you make has to be what you think is the best ice cream. Of course, you always have to consider the customer. If you think the best ice cream in the world has no sugar and no sweetness to it, you may stand by that, but your customers won't like it. So there has to be a happy medium, but just be true to yourself. Make it what you think is the best ice cream for you. Those guys have a good deal because there's 2 of them. I did it alone. So they can say, this is good. The other one say it's too this, or it's not enough this. And they'll come to an agreement, which is good. I wish I had that, but I don't. I did it myself. So it's what I think it should be is what it is. Make sense? Well, I had that too, and I ran through that. When I got my countertop, I had it installed in my kitchen at home. I put a tarp on the floor, I taped it all around, and for 2 months I made ice cream in the kitchen and gave it to the neighbors. And their feedback was very important. If they said they didn't like it, nobody's going to like it. Now, the first thing I made, we were invited to it's all right, it's my time.
Go right ahead.
Okay.
I'm just watching the machine.
The first thing I made, we were invited to a New Year's Eve party at a fairly high-end, snooty house with about 80 people. And I figured, well, let's bring ice cream. It's cheapest, and So I made champagne ice cream. It was New Year's Eve. I made champagne ice cream. And they just went nuts over it. It disappeared in about 15 minutes. And then I knew that I had a business. So that's what started me, champagne ice cream. Of course, a lot of champagne. In my batch of champagne ice cream, I use 6 bottles of champagne. And it only makes me 3 gallons. It's good. It's good stuff. So that's the coconut ice cream. It'll be out, and we'll see what it tastes like. Yes?
Is there any way of getting around using a dairy mix? without using a pasteurizer, using your own ingredients to make the mix? I know, Steve, you want to sell your pasteurizer. Is that what you?
No, he doesn't want to sell a pasteurizer.
No, I don't. I don't even sell pasteurizers.
What he wants to do is convince you to buy a dairy mix.
Yes.
On a fairly fresh basis. I get it delivered every Thursday morning, and we freeze it. It goes right into the freezer, except if I need any that day to make ice cream. And we get, I don't know, 8 boxes, which is 16 bladders. Each bladder is 10 quarts. So that's about what I work with every week. But
No, I'm wondering if you can make your own mix.
where do you live?
Pasteurizer. We live in Kansas City right now. We live in Missouri.
Well, you can get mix there.
Yeah. The answer is you can't make your own mix. You can, but it's you can do anything in America. It's a great country, but that's about as close to impossible as it gets. I recommend a pasteurizer because some people are going to do it no matter what. But the federal law is, even though you can go to the supermarket and buy pasteurized cream and pasteurized milk and pasteurized skim milk, when you blend them back together in a machine, they want it repasteurized. The law makes no sense whatsoever, but it goes all the way back to the Great Depression, 1929.
And you don't save money making your own.
Oh, no, it's much more expensive because no one's going to... You need 50 gallons of heavy cream. And the dairies make better money selling it in half-pint containers than selling you 50 gallons. So you can't even find the product. Some of my customers do. A handful of them do, and they get a lot of attention. But that's all they're getting. They're not making, big sums of money. I have a rather snarky way of putting it, and that is, can you tell me the difference between a Holstein, a Guernsey, and a Jersey? If you can't, then you can't tell me what the butterfat levels are that they produce. Can you tell me what the butterfat level is between January and July? If you can't, you have no business making ice cream mix because your mix is going to be different every single month. And that's the curse of any business, is inconsistency. If I built great machines in November and lousy machines in February, I wouldn't be here. The federal government has just made it very, very near impossible. If you think you're in bed with your health department, wait till you make your own mix. You have to have recording timers with charts that will show them, how long you pasteurized it for, that you aged it properly, that you did all these different things. You are literally becoming a dairy, and you're not a dairy. You're in the ice cream business. You're not in a dairy. If you sell cars, you're in the car business. You don't make your own gasoline. You leave that to someone else that runs in your car. Again, there will be people who do it. I've got a couple in California, one in Colorado, 2 in New York City, and they get a lot of attention. Are they making any money? I don't think so, because their cost has got to be double. And again, I don't take on projects when I can hire someone to do it better than me. I can't possibly know everything, so I have a fabulous staff who does different jobs of what their expertise at. I mean, I'd make a lousy bookkeeper. So I've got a world-class bookkeeper and a world-class accountant. It would be fun to make your own, but it really comes down to then where do you get the recipe? Well, you have to go to Penn State or Clemson or University of Maryland or University of Wisconsin. Those have dairy schools, and you'd have to hire someone to come up with the formulation for you based on where you are in the United States. The problems, and you're not in that business. You're in the business of making fun ice cream to sell to people. But dairies are available everywhere, and even when it's not within driving distance, there's companies like Cisco and US Foods who deliver. You see their trucks everywhere. They're delivering to restaurants all over the country. And so if it isn't right in your town, it can be brought in from Wisconsin. It can be brought in from Austin. It can be brought in from New York or Florida. So there's plenty of places to look around, but you need to specialize on your specialty, making great ice cream, not making ingredients.
Why are you off camera?
I don't know. I'm hiding, I guess. I didn't think of that.
You're like the man behind the curtain.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think I was off camera.
Yeah, I couldn't turn the camera that far.
That's all right.
The great wizard.
Yes. That's our VOG, the voice of
Yes,
God.
the all-knowing, all-seeing. Okay, that's it. Nothing else you want to know. Done.
How long did you have to run the bench freezer when you had 6 quarts of champagne?
About probably 18, 20 minutes.
The amazing thing is that it can do it. Other machines, you have to add the alcohol as it's coming out of the machine. They don't have enough freezing capacity. We can put in a whole bottle of rum. I had a guy come from Kentucky. He brought whiskey made on a still. That stuff at 30 below zero wouldn't harden. I mean, we turned it into ice cream, but you put it in the flash freezer, and you could still scoop it like it was soft ice cream. It had so much. The alcohol stays in suspension. I had a bunch of happy employees. Boy, they all went, whoo.
Okay.
Go for it. If you think it's ready.
You haven't had too much, have you?
Oh, good. We got more coming.
Because you don't eat this, I'll be really pissed.
No, don't eat it. I get it all.
Okay. When do you take it out? That's up to you. How sweet do you want it? That's up to you.
Let's see how that comes out nice and fast. That's beautiful.
It's all right, I got it.
Okay. I was going to help.
Okay, let's eat it. Coconut. Oh, it better be good. You're right. Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, man. I'll let you know when it's good.
Shelf life on like devices.
Hopefully you can't answer that. Hopefully you just sell it fast enough. I never have a problem with nothing goes bad.
Ice cream at 30 below zero will last 6 months, but if it's in there for 6 months, it's a lousy flavor that nobody wants. Get rid of it. Ices will stay, if it's at serving temperature, 4 days. If you want to add some natural chemicals to it, like guar gum or carrageenan, you can get 2 weeks.
Yeah, the consistency, it's like that so much air in it, almost like whipped cream. Once it's in it freezes and hardens.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You can't, if you pulled it out at a temperature ready to scoop, it wouldn't come out of the machine.
Right.
So you can't do it.
So it's just
Let's
really
look at
fluffy.
That's beautiful. Isn't that nice? Look at that. Look at that product.
Jeff, I'm not an ice cream eater. I love it.
This is great, isn't it?
It is really,
Right in the right in the beginning.
it's the best.
Right in the beginning.
So Jeff said something about mixing in alcohol after.
Yeah.
No, no. With other machines, you can't even put it in the machine. The product won't freeze. It won't freeze. But just add it right in the machine with the mix.
So how much rum could you add to your recipe here?
How much you got?
I use sometimes 2 175s in a batch.
That much? You know, oh, but you do the double, the 10 or 12.
Coconut. Anybody touches that without my permission?
1 175. Depends on the flavor. My rum raisin, by its nature, has a lot of rum in it. Boy, this is pretty
I got to
good.
tell you, Jeff, I don't get mad, but I came back after one of these classes when you made this, and I came back and there was none in my freezer, and employees were coming up to me and saying, My mother-in-law loved that coconut. Your mother-in-law? I didn't even get any.
I think it's
So
really good ice
there'll
cream.
there'll be a padlock on that freezer tonight.
Do you sell a lot of this one? Because I could see my customers, they love coconut, anything that's coconut. Oh my God.
I think it's really good.
No vanilla?
What?
No vanilla?
No. No vanilla. Good for noticing. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Look at this. They want second. Ah!
How come no vanilla?
What? I tried it with vanilla when I first made it. I took it out. Just to me, it's perfect. It's perfect now.
You wonder what?
Toasted coconut. Have you ever used toasted?
Yeah, we made toasted coconut ice cream.
Is that good or not?
Well, you know, here's the deal. People aren't going to buy toasted coconut ice cream and coconut ice cream. They won't buy coconut and Mounds Bar. So I have to settle on one. And this is the first time I made this in about 2 years because I got tricked into making Mounds Bar. But this is better. To me, this is better.
So do you think the toasted coconut would not be as good?
It was good, but it wasn't this. This is pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Jeff, I made this product. Everybody, I made this product using an Italian flavor that comes in a can. I made the same product with the Italian flavor here. And I have to tell you, compared to this, mine was good. Compared to this was sticky and gummy and heavy. This is light and refreshing. The taste comes out. So even the Italians can't make something this good. I think I'll stay in here with the melt. Hey, Sadie.
Huh?
Oh, I know.
And between flavors, rinsing the machine, not cleaning it, but rinsing the machine is pretty simple. If you line up your flavors properly before you start making them, then you don't have to thoroughly clean it. For instance, we went from honey vanilla to coconut. Just a one rinse shot and you're good. You know, one rinse. Because if there is any residue left, it's a little amount of honey vanilla, which is fine. Now we're going to, if we have time, what time is it? 12:30? So we'll probably have time. He's got me scheduled for another flavor, and I want most of the coconut out, but if there's a little coconut left, I'm fine, because we're making M&M ice cream. The M&M is so overpowering, you won't really get any of the... are you on the phone? How rude. You won't get any, it's overpowering, so it'll overpower the coconut. And get yourself a one of those hand strainers. You know, you hold it and it has the straining part here. And then when you go to the sink, even with something as innocuous as coconut, take it and pour it through, and you'd be surprised you get a whole bunch of coconut left. And don't throw it out. Go to the last batch you made, open the top, and just put it in there. And so there'll be coconut on top, and it helps. Just any of your flavors. Chocolate chip, anything with chocolate chips, do the same thing. He doesn't have one here. I'm working in such conditions. Yes?
Do you use the insert all the time?
Use my what?
Do you use the
Yeah, I like them. I mean, you don't.
I was just wondering if people ever prefer without.
Well, in the can of shredded coconut, you get coconut pieces, but I bought so much of that, I bought so much of the flakes, it comes in a huge bag, so I figured why not, but it's fine. I mean, it's okay. I'm trying to think if I use it in anything else. I use it in one other flavor, and I forget what it is. They're trying to talk here. Yes, what was that?
Is this one of the ones you put booze in?
No booze in this one. You know, I have to stop myself because we have about 25 flavors with alcohol in it and about 20 without. And truth being said, you could add alcohol to them all. Just like chocolate. You can put chocolate in anything. Imagine this coconut with chocolate chips in it. Couldn't be bad, right? What are you doing?
I'm making chocolate ice.
All right, I'm just going to clean this out while you're doing that.
Okay. Now I'm going to make chocolate raspberry Italian ice, or sorbet, or sorbetto, whichever you'd like to call it. And really pretty simple, and you'll be surprised how refreshing it is. I'm going to use raspberries, a little vanilla extract. I'm using Forbes chocolate, 100-year-old company called Benjamin P. Forbes. And chocolate is extremely subjective. The folks here in the front who have a chocolate business can tell you that. My wife Paula likes nothing less than 70, 80, 90% cocoa, which to me tastes like chalk. My personal taste is M&Ms and Hershey bars. You know, I think that's the be-all and end-all.
Very sophisticated.
Exactly. You got that right. You got that right. So I guess the Forbes is a happy marriage between the two. It's a wonderful chocolate that I like, and it's designed for ice cream, but I use it for chocolate Italian ice. I've even made it as simple, and I was planning to today until I found that I had the Forbes. I was going to use Hershey syrup, which also does a fine job. Because
no Bosco?
If they made Bosco, I'd probably use it. And I'd give you a little Geritol. So we've got the 3/4 of a pound of the Forbes, and I've got my water, 4 quarts of water, yep. I'm going to pour that in there. Normally you would just dump the water in and dump the chocolate in. This would be your last flavor of the day, but Jeff's going to do one after me. And the cocoa powder just makes such a mess of a machine. I actually need the whisk.
The whisk, right down there.
Okay. It makes such a mess. It gets hung up in the cover and all, that it's easier to try to dissolve it. I've had people say that to make a really great chocolate ice cream, if you're using a powder like this, put it in the mix the night before, stir it up, and let it sit overnight. That it'll blossom, it'll age, it'll get better. I'm not a chocolatier, so does that make sense? Does it get better? This is.
It tastes like cocoa when I tasted it.
It says ice cream powder.
It's not sweet.
It's got sugar in it.
Not sweet. I tasted it. It tastes like cocoa to me. But if you want a great chocolate powder, it's in the book. Use Giardelli's chocolate powder. Yeah, and it comes in 25-pound boxes. They make regular dark chocolate and then they make white chocolate. I buy both. And I get them from a company called SeriousChai.com. Yeah. I live on eBay.
Okay, I need my sugar, 2.5 pounds.
2.5 pounds
you could help
of sugar.
me, please.
I think we need another bag.
Okay, got lots of them. While Jeff's pouring this sugar in, I just want to show you something. Here is the local supermarket here down in Florida. It's called Publix. And so this is the Publix brand. It's dirt cheap. And over here is this nice container, very fancy, of Domino considerably more expensive than the dirt cheap. And guess what? They came out of the same processing plant. They're the exact same stuff. Sugar is sugar.
Now,
So
I have to disagree with him there.
that's going to be on his tombstone. I have to disagree. Mine's going to say something intelligent. His is going to say I have to disagree.
I used to agree with him until they were out of this store brand at Restaurant Depot, the generic, and I bought Domino's. And Domino's, it doesn't clump. It's a little finer, and the price is insignificant compared to the other. It's pennies.
So that's
more.
just a point of being lazy,
No,
because it doesn't clump.
no, it keeps better.
It's still granular sugar.
I store my sugar in containers, bins about this big,
Cane sugar or beet sugar?
Cane.
cane sugar. But I like the Domino's. I think it's better sugar than the other. And
It's a horse race.
the price is insignificant. It's pennies difference. And I spare no expense when I make ice cream for this guy.
So that's basically it. Sugar, flavor, and water. I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla. Closed up?
Could you afford your sugar into the mix earlier when you make coconut ice?
No.
Sure.
No.
What?
Into the mix or into the machine?
Into the mix, he said.
Into the mix, yes. Not into the machine. Because it acts like sandpaper and will prematurely wear your blades.
Absolutely.
All right, so I found that if you lift up a little bit above the lip,
Why are you making it in this machine?
because this is the one I'm running.
I have to make ice cream after this.
Well, I can
You
rinse it
said
out.
I would have this machine.
You see what I had to suffer through? Okay. If you weren't so damn popular, you'd still be here. Okay, so we've got the sugar, the water. We're going to add some vanilla. Okay.
Keep talking.
And away we go. That's it. Put it for Italian ice. Hit start. Turn on the refrigeration. Set a watch. And now we'll add the raspberries. I would say buy the Publix brand because they're inexpensive, and I'm sure if I said that, Jeff would say, "Oh no, buy the Dole."
Now, this is sorbet. Oh, I see. Now, you could make this, you all have a copy of this? You could take this same recipe, add some dairy mix, and have sherbet or cream ice.
Or cream ice.
Which is,
Where are the other two bags?
what? Figure it out.
About 2 quarts. About 2 quarts. But that's not what I'm making here today.
I have a friend in South Florida, in Coral Springs, Parkland actually, and he opened up a cream ice store. Just cream ice. You can't get in there. Every night, he's been open 7 years now. Every night, lines out the door down the block. And he has about 75 flavors of cream ice. The most exotic stuff you ever saw, but it's cream ice. And he has 2 Emery Thompsons in the back room. And he can't keep up. 75 flavors, the more exotic you can't believe. I mean, he's got pistachio, he's got brownie, cookie mix, every flavor you can think of in cream ice.
Where's his,
How many? Huh?
where's his place?
I'm right in the middle here. I'm making a point. I'm right in the middle. Where are we going here? I'm right down the road. How many of you have never tasted cream ice? Oh, God. Anybody who's coming to the class tomorrow? Okay, your whole idea is going to change. All right? How good is cream ice, guys? It's amazing stuff. If I had this life to do over again, I would open up a cream ice store rather than an ice cream store. I'm just saying, you know, it's the most amazing frozen dessert on the planet. You'll see tomorrow. You'll see. Tomorrow we make Italian ices and cream ice.
I think I recall introducing it to you. He won't admit that. I made it a couple of years ago, and he said, wow, this is okay.
Now, I think somebody had a question.
Where is the cream ice place to go taste?
Wiles Road, Coral Springs. It's called Cecily's Gourmet Ices, Gourmet Italian Ice.
And that's close by?
See, what?
It's close
No,
by?
it's 4 hours from here.
Oh, so which direction?
South.
South?
Yeah. Where do you live?
Well, I'm in Minnesota, but we
Where?
have a place in Palm Coast.
Palm Coast. It's
Which
in
is in between Daytona
it's in Coral Springs.
Coral Springs.
Yeah, you can Google it. Cecily's Gourmet Italian Ices. And you know what? In no deference to Evan, Evan owns the place. It's not the cleanest place. It's not the most attractive place. It's just sterile white. He has dipping cases with cracks in the glass on top. It's just not, but the product is ridiculously amazing. You guys should go there because you live not far. Cecily's, Ceciles, Cecily's Gourmet Italian Ices. The most amazing, I mean, he's a genius. When I got into this business, I asked Evan if I could buy his recipes. And he thought he was my next door neighbor, right across the street. And he thought and he said, okay, 5,000, but I'm not giving you my top ones. I said, hey, you know, what are you doing here? So I never did connect with him on the recipe deal. And then I opened my place, and because I went to Steve's class, I opened an ice cream store. But cream ice is really where my heart is. You'll see tomorrow. You won't believe it. You'll say, where? How come I haven't ever had this?
If you want to get a good idea of excellent cream ice flavors, go to Ralph's Ices or ralphsitalianices.com. They're in Staten Island. Larry DiStefano, his family really has been doing it for about 70 years, and they took it to the nth degree. And I think I may have mentioned this morning, Ralph's also makes ice cream ices. That was the next progression too, to do the Oreo cookie Italian ice, to do the peanut butter and jelly Italian ice. They're wonderful products. I put thousands of people into business doing Italian ices, and they're all extremely successful. Something Jeff said this morning I was thinking about, and I think I agree with it, with a little bit of change. You can start off as an ices business and go into ice cream, but you can't really start as an ice cream business and go into ices.
Correct.
It does, because it is like, just like Jeff found, it can
It's
compete.
watery compared.
It can fight with your ice cream, but you can go the other way, and that's what I often do, because the ice cream involves more effort and more equipment, and you need a great location. A great location doesn't necessarily have to be expensive. It just has to be a good traffic and good income. I always tell people my ideal location is one where if you had a 16-year-old daughter, would you send her out alone at 8:30 at night to come to your store? If it's that safe in their neighborhood, then I'd say, yeah, it's great. Because you'll always do ice cream sales during the day, but your biggest sales are going to be 6 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night. People want to get out, they want entertainment, they want something to do.
What a great hours just for a store.
That's right. And cardamas are coming in.
Glad I thought of it.
So I think you'll find this very refreshing. Any questions so far? No? Okay.
By the way, cream ice is also sherbet. Sherbet. Remember sherbet? That's cream ice.
Yeah, but cream ice is better because sherbet was always made out of that
Too
number
much
10.
mix also.
It was made out of that number 10 tin. And still today, if you go to an old-fashioned ice cream parlor, I mean one that's been around since the 1950s, and they're selling sherbet, see if it isn't sticky and gummy and, you know, not something that you love. Because
I thought there was always too much mix in sherbet.
it's usually cheap stuff, hide the name, cheap stuff like this. If you use fresh fruit, it's going to be fresh. This, every product that you make will have a different freezing time, slightly different. All the ice creams are going to come in under 10 minutes. Gelato will be at 10 minutes because the slower you turn it, the longer it takes to freeze. So usually ice cream 8 minutes, gelato 10 minutes. But when you get into the cream ices, the Italian ices, the sorbets, frozen lemonade, they are mostly sugar and a high concentration of sugar. And sugar takes longer to freeze than dairy does. So something like this could take 16 to 18 minutes to freeze. So what you've seen Jeff and I do today, and I hope you took notice, is we didn't, while in between batches, we didn't get on the phone and talk to a friend. We didn't, just waste time. We were always over here, either one or the other, getting the next flavor ready. I have a friend up in Chelmsford, Mass., and he has a sign over his ice cream parlor over the entrance that says, we love our customers, we think you're great, I'm making ice cream go away. And it's a little cynical, but the truth is what he's saying is when you say I'm going to make ice cream now for the next 3 hours, that's what you do. That's what your job is. I see people run into problems with flavors and machinery because they think they can make ice cream at 2 in the afternoon while being the only person in the store and serving the front counter. I guarantee you they're going to mess up the product. They're going to leave something out, which I'm notorious for, or they're going to just over-freeze the product because they weren't paying attention. So it's a job. It's a business. You set aside this amount of time, and that's what you do with it. And you'll have a great and consistent product. I'll take you on a tour of the factory when we finish up. Jeff's going to make one more product after me. One of the things that you're going to see is the way we build these machines. We have an average lifespan of 45 years, or as Jeff says, or more. Every other machine on the market is between 8 and 11. That means your investment, no matter how much it is going to be throwaway. It's going to be in the junk heap in no more than 11 years. And the reason's very simple. The Freon travels, it's a gas, and it travels through the Freon lines. That's around the cylinder, down to the compressor. Everyone uses aluminum because aluminum is very inexpensive. I even had a BMW once, and they spray painted the air conditioning aluminum lines copper colored to make it look more expensive. The color didn't look right, so I scratched it, and sure enough, it was aluminum. Because they know I'm not going to keep the car 40 years. So aluminum wears out in 8 to 11 years. It just completely rots out, and your machine is finished. We only use copper. That's all we've ever used, pure copper. It's the same as gold. Gold will be here, if you have a bar of gold, it'll be around 1,000 years from now. If you had a piece of copper, it'll be around 1,000 years from now. It's inert, it doesn't wear out. It costs 9 times more than aluminum, but we're not interested in having you have to come back in 4 years or 7 years and buy another machine. We build it for life. Before I came up with this size machine, we would sell a machine to a customer and we'd say, see you in 40 or 50 years. And it's really the way it works, unless they expand it into more stores. Now, the approach is we get people into the business at a very affordable price because, quite frankly, 5 years ago, banks were, if you want $100,000, they'd hand you a check tomorrow. Now you go into a bank and they won't give you $200. They're just not loaning money. So you have to start the business at a lower level, let it make money, and as it makes money, then you can afford to expand. This is ready. In fact, it's a little over ready. Here we go. That's beautiful.
What flavor is this? Chocolate raspberry. Great combination.
I need that.
What happened?
I missed. You want to finish off for me? No, I got to throw it out.
Throw it out?
I had my hands on it. Okay, you want to start serving that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm gonna be the first customer.
Boy, this looks really good.
Does that affect the texture or the extrusion?
The extrusion.
Okay.
You know what? I don't like it.
What?
I don't like it.
I bet it's that cocoa.
I don't like
Let me
it.
try it.
What don't you like about it?
It's chalky.
It's tart.
It's tart, too. Why is it tart? The raspberries?
Yeah.
Too many raspberries? Well, come up and try my failure.
I think what you don't like is that chocolate you used.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see that face again.
Can we get that on camera? That was great.
It's a good thing I'm winding up with a flavor.
No, it's good. Oh, hi, Sadie. Come over here and save the day. Come here, sweetie. No, that's not good. So you can make a
think it's
mistake,
bad,
and the
but
important
it's-
thing is throw it out and readjust it. I think I'll go back to the Hershey syrup. Yeah, the powder for ice cream is too chalky. Because that's real expensive.
Yeah, if you have to explain, he won't understand.
No, that's not fair.
Well, what do you mean it's too expensive? It's not too expensive.
Well, I'm not selling it and making, $400 off it.
But I think the Hershey syrup works good.
Yeah, the Hershey syrup does work good. This
Foxes
is just
you bet. Foxes you bet.
I won't be freezing
1
this
gallons. No, I guess not. Hey, and you know what? If I made this in the store and I had his feeling, I would take it and go right to the sink. Done.
That's where it is.
Just gotta dump it out. You gotta
Yeah.
eat your mistakes. That's it.
Yeah.
Not everything's a winner.
Never serve the public something that isn't absolutely your very best.
100%, right.
So after I clean out this mess, what are you making?
I'm going to make my classic and famous M&M ice cream.
All right. So I'm going to have to do a couple of rinses to get rid of this.
Well, not too many. It's chocolate. You'll be all right. But I agree. It's chalky and tart.
Yeah. Oh, what a shame.
I used to know them, that team.
Chalky and tart?
Yeah.
What a shame.
Actually, Steve, it's good that we made this because now they see you just got to throw it out. Not everything is a winner.
Yeah. But you've got to experiment. That's the only way you're going to find new things. Hi, Sadie. Give me a kiss. Mwah.
Take a story and try it. Really that bad, Jeff? You try it?
Yeah. It's not something I would sell. And, it's not terrible, but it's just not there. Chalky and tart.
She's coming out. Thank you.
Yeah, this will need a few rinses.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
It's all right.
Oh, it's so easy because the openings are so large. There's not a lot of moving parts.
Put that in the middle sink.
All right.
I guess one more should do it.
I don't know. It might be 2.
Well, then you can start that one filling up.
Roger.
Go ahead. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
I didn't think it was awful. It just wasn't good.
Yeah. Boy, that's right down there with the avocado. At least the avocado was edible. All right, I got one more.
Okay.
No, it didn't. It's a good lesson. It's a great lesson. See, if you took the time to watch the 110 hours of videos that I've done, you would come to one conclusion, which I didn't plan, but it's worked out wonderfully for me. You'd say, man, if that idiot Steve Thompson can make that, imagine what I could do.
Which is exactly what I said, sitting in the back.
I know you did. He did. 4 years ago, he said, I can do better. And of course, that's the purpose, is to show you the mechanics, and then you do it better.
You think you need one more?
Yeah.
Okay, then
I
I'll go
wouldn't
get the
ri-
mix and
Yeah.
you can put this
I would
in.
not risk getting any of that
Okay.
into your good ice cream. But you see how fast we cleaned up from chocolate?
Steve, can you throw a little bleach in there?
No, I wouldn't want to at this
At the
point.
end of the day, when you,
No, I'm saying when you don't. At the end of the day, right, you throw 25% mixed bleach in.
I don't like bleach. I use Sterashine because health departments are not the smartest people on the earth, and they see that you're putting bleach in the machine. They go, "Oh my God, you're using Clorox!" And I go, "Well, what do you think you put in the swimming pool?" You know, they don't see that. So keep it to where the health department understands it. And Sterashine is the gold standard of the industry. Bleach-wise, yes. Yeah.
Clorox.
No, if I was doing it, I can use a cap full, not a cup, a cap full of Clorox bleach to a gallon of water. So anywhere in the world, I can sanitize the machine or any other restaurant equipment, even utensils, and know that it's done right.
Boy, look at that. You knew exactly how much mix to keep out.
How about?
Huh. Son of a gun.
All right, we're ready to go.
Okay.
Does the barrel have a forward slant at all to it? or-
Yes.
It does. Yeah. And also the design of the dasher is to push everything out, too. We've thought of everything.
How much is it?
It only took us
canted?
110 years.
How much is it canted?
Very slight. Other people don't even do that to their barrels, so I'm not going to give away the secrets.
Gotcha. Now, I'm a nut about any water left in there. I just really got to get it out.
Yeah, you're not gonna put any water in there.
What's that?
You're not gonna put any water in there.
Hold on.
Okay. So we're going to make M&M ice cream after that vile flavor you just had. M&M ice cream. We'll take 5 quarts of mix, but of course we'll remember to close the gate, won't we? So 5 quarts of mix. This is in the book also. This is a recipe that you can duplicate with Snickers, Milky Way, Nestle Crunch. You can do it with any of them. Same exact formula. I was reading in an ice cream book last night, preparing for my class tomorrow, a pretty respected guy in the industry, and I was reading his formula, a recipe for Snickers ice cream. And it's vanilla ice cream, and then on the extrusion, take crumbled Snickers pieces and feed them in. It just doesn't make it. Vanilla, how much vanilla? 5 ounces. What I found when I first made this was, what I did is I took the M&Ms and froze them, and I did this last night because I don't like his blender. I took the M&Ms frozen last night, and I put them in a Superior machine, and I let it go till it became powder. Can you see that? It's powder. And that's the only way you're going to get the flavor of the ice cream to be the flavor of this. It's got to meld. If you simply put crushed M&Ms into your mix, you're getting vanilla ice cream with M&M pieces in it. But when you taste this, you'll understand. You have. Who asked that? Should I tell him or not?
You said you were gonna tell us the magic.
No? Okay. No, sorry, I can't
You
tell you.
said you would.
I did?
Say you would.
Buy his book.
Did you use a rubber scoop?
What do we have where's Steve? Do we have a spoon or something to put
For
this
what?
in? To put the M&M powder into the machine. Of course, in my store, I have all the utensils that I need to do this.
Let's
Like
shake
a
it into a...
plastic spoon or a metal
Oh,
spoon.
man,
or
you got a
something.
problem there, don't you? Use a scoop.
tell you the conditions I have to work under.
I tell you, it's awful. You know
I
what's
tried
even,
a Vitamix. No
you know
good.
what's even worse? While you were doing all this, my guy stripped your car.
A Vitamix, no good. I paid $500 for a Vitamix, and if anybody wants to buy it, I'll give them a great deal on it. I'll sell it to you for half price. What?
For your, no, you don't use Robert's poop, okay.
Robert's poop.
No, Robert's poop.
RoboCoop.
Oh yeah, but he doesn't have anything. He
But
told
do
me.
you use one of those?
I use stainless steel spoons,
Oh,
industry standard.
I'm talking about the
Oh, you're trying to get it out of me, aren't you?
STERASHEN.
Okay, normally this would go in about 2 seconds, but I'm stuck using this archaic stuff here. And there's 2 pounds of M&Ms. They come in 4-pound bags. So when I make a regular full batch, I just take a 4-pound bag, put it in the secret device.
You'd be able to. Oh, isn't it? Didn't someone think that up for doing variegating ice cream, Jeff?
Okay, so as I said, the thing that I felt was missing because you're grinding up the M&Ms to powder was a little more significant amount of chocolate. So I add chips, mini chips to it. And when you taste it, you won't even know there's mini chips, but it adds that chocolatey flavor. You know how much, by the way? About that much. I use a full thing for a full batch, so I figured a half would be fine. But it's all up to you. You like less chocolate? Add less chocolate.
Chef, do you go by volume or do you go by weight?
Good question. Some go by volume, some go by weight, and some go by liquid measure. For instance, mix goes by what? Liquid measure. Quarts, gallons, things like that. Sugar goes by weight, pounds, ounces. M&Ms go by weight. What else is there? Some things are confusing, though. Some things I have to, well, what do they mean? You know, because you don't know. Okay, we ready? Ready? Have any of you ever touched a machine like this? No? Is it at all intimidating to you? Because it shouldn't be after today. It's real simple. Right? You found it real simple when you got yours? Yeah, it is what it is. It's, you know. Okay, we are rocking and rolling, ready to go. Of course, we're out of containers now. So we'll put it in this. I have a feeling like the teacher's watching the advanced student up here getting his legs.
The 3/4 machine. That's our baby.
Okay, so I said you can do this with other candy bars. I've done it with Snickers and I've done it with Milky Way. And what I do is I take the bars and I freeze them. And then when they come out of the freezer, I simply put them in this magic machine and it makes dust out of them. Magic machine? No, Cuisinart? No, it's not strong enough. No. We know what it is.
It's too small. Yeah, you need the 6-quart.
I have 5 of them in my store, and they're just the best.
I'll tell you for $5.
It's a Ninja. Ninja. And the reason that Ninja is different from every other blender in the world, every other blender, even the Vitamix, has the blade on the bottom that spins. The Ninja has 3 sets of big blades that come out of the middle stalk, and they spin incredibly fast. So, for instance, if you put your finger in it, it'll go like that. Even frozen Milky Way bars. You put them in there, powder. Frozen Snickers bars. And you can make a killer Snickers ice cream. Hello? So the first person to raise their hand gets $100.
Are you saying something?
No, wouldn't you agree, though?
I didn't even hear you.
Oh, and why is that?
I was having an intelligent conversation.
Right. So anyway, you could take Milky Way. Milky Way is a great bar. It's got that caramel and then the brown stuff and then the milk chocolate. So anytime you want to make an ice cream that is truly the flavor of that product, instead of, you know, the frozen yogurt places, you go get yogurt from the wall and then you put the pieces on top. That's nothing. That's nothing. When you taste this, you'll understand what and every night we get people every night, and they say, when they look at the M&M up there, they say, "Is that vanilla or chocolate?" And I say, "No." And they say to the Snickers, "Is that vanilla or chocolate?" And I say, "No." I make our Bailey's Irish cream ice cream, and they say, "Is that vanilla or chocolate?" I say, "No." It is the flavor of what you see, and they don't get it till they taste it. Like you guys, you don't get it. It has to be vanilla or chocolate, but it's not. It is what the flavor is. You haven't taken any notes. You got a big thing going on here, right? Oh, he's your note taker? Nice. He's your scribe. Very nice. Did you get that? Good. Ah, yes, sir.
Another thing I just want to add, the reason why we didn't present this is, in my view, is that the other kind of robo-foods or food processors, they actually start to melt down everything.
Because the same food is being, it doesn't rotate it.
It gets clumped up and it's very hard to get out.
When I first opened up, I bought a Cuisinart, and then I made a barter trade for a customer for a KitchenAid Mixmaster, you know, the big silver bowl thing. And this was the green one. This was the commercial one. And I traded her a lot of product for that, and also the Cuisinart. And I just brought them home. I brought them back to my wife, and I said, "These are taking up room. I haven't used them in 4 years because of Ninja." The first Ninjas, and they've always had that triple blade thing. The first ones worked by, when you put the top on and press the top, it activated, no speeds or anything. Now they're getting fancy. Now they have power and then 3 or 4 speeds to them. But recently I was at a flea market, and a guy had them stacked up in the boxes, and I bought 5 of them for $40 each, which is not, I mean, it's not great, but it's pretty good. How much are they new? About $100? Greatest machine ever. If it breaks, throw it away, buy another one. Yep. They are great. They changed my whole business, because now you can make, just like these machines, you can put anything into the machines and it'll blend. The Ninja, you can take any product and it'll pulverize. And that's how you get ice cream that tastes like the product. Go ahead. I can see it. It's boiling up.
So anytime you want to put particulates in, you have to put it in.
What did you call them?
Particulates.
Particulates.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Anytime you want to put anything that has a size, like a chocolate chunk or walnuts, etc., you have to put it in after it's extruded. If you want it to stay.
You don't want it to stay. The goal is to have your ice cream that flavor.
Yes, but then you also might want to add some other things.
Yeah, I'm a purist. If my ice cream tastes the way I want, I'm good. I don't need pieces floating around. Now, I do make malted milk ball ice cream, which is killer ice cream. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? And I buy them. I go online, a company called Bayside Candy. Scribe. Bayside Candy. I buy the malted milk balls. I guess they're 10-pound bags. They're significant. And as soon as I get them, I throw in the freezer. And then when I make malted milk ball ice cream, I don't know if it's in the book or not, I use 20 cups of malted milk balls. Now, there's something about weight and volume. This is volume. I don't know how much it weighs. I guess I should do it sometime. but I use 20 cups of malted milk balls, and I throw them in the Ninja, and I get powder, and whoa, I mean, it's killer ice cream. And I add a little malted milk powder too, just to kick it in. You don't have to, but I do. And the reason it's great is because the malted milk balls are coated with chocolate. So if you buy decent malted milk balls, you get decent chocolate. And then when you pulverize them, you get, bless you, you get a chocolate malted milk thing. It's really good. M&M ice cream. Ha! What a great idea. What?
The sugar you never add because it'll actually grind in there and get dissolved. So that's why you pulverize the Snickers rather than throw the whole bar in there.
Well, you can't throw the whole bar in frozen or thawed.
Even if it wasn't.
No, you can't do it. It's too much mass.
You want to use this?
It's not particulates.
You'll understand when you taste
You want me to put it in here? Wow, that's really... Taste it.
Let's not give it to them.
This is really good.
Oh, I'm sorry, you can't eat this.
Those two guys went through the class a couple of months ago, and they are, anything I know, they know.
Fabulous.
And what?
Fabulous.
Yeah, that's good. And they're going to have a real successful business. They're going to open this spring in Boynton Beach, called Boardwalk Ice Cream. How's that for a $100 million plug right there? Boardwalk Ice Cream in Boynton Beach. I highly recommend you go. These guys they got it here. Not that you guys don't, of course.
We've only got to take the class once.
Okay, M&M ice cream. A lot of particulates in this one. That's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
To push it out the rest of the way.
Oh, baby. Okay.
Don't eat too much. Watch your diet. Don't ruin your dinner.
Steve gets the leftovers.
I do. It is. That's why it's there. I can just turn it up.
Okay, should we try this or? Now this is probably the first time you're going to taste M&M ice cream rather than vanilla ice cream with M&Ms in it.
Go ahead. Or as we say on Long Island, go ahead.
Sounds like you enjoyed it.
It was a blast. I learned a lot. But you're going to understand now.
On your videos, haven't I seen you though pulverize some of the stuff and then closer to the end you do a little bit in for identity?
I add it as it's coming out. I have half of what I'm making goes in the machine.
Thanks.
And
That was your
the other
job
half
last
as
time,
it's
wasn't
coming
it?
out.
It was.
So I have
That's how
what I
you knew
call
to do it
fruit
this
When
time.
it's coming out, you're putting it in there.
for identity
What a
purposes.
great class.
So I can,
you know, this
you
is
can see
yes,
that
this
it's
is
Oreo
the truth.
cookie.
This is probably
But
the
something
best
like
class we've ever
maple
had.
walnut, I don't bother. Because
No, I really don't.
what you ideally want is
Well,
quarter-sized pieces of walnuts.
You can choose
So
not to
if
believe
you
us,
talk to the
but we're not
chocolatier
saying
over
it for
there,
any benefit.
A bag of walnuts is very expensive. A bag of pieces is very inexpensive. So why put whole walnuts into a machine that's going to break them into pieces? Buy the cheaper
You
pieces
see how
and just throw
easy
them
this
in.
was to make,
Yeah.
too? This was nothing.
As it's coming out.
No, everything in the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's where the flavor is.
All right.
I think I'll take it away before they ask for seconds.
It's so good, isn't it? So easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do. Where you going?
I'm taking it away. I don't want you to lose your svelte figure.
Oh, boy.
M&M. M&M. After you finish that, I'll give you a tour of the factory. Any questions? I think if you get to emerythompson.com, and I assume many of you have been here, but people watching the video, 110 hours of this, along with individual flavors that I've done, to show you how to make all different things, how to maintain the machine, how to unpack it when you get it. Also, I put on all my machines, besides giving my home phone number, 914-643-7391, if you need me at night or on a weekend, there's a QR code. You can take your smartphone and just scan that, and at 2 in the morning, because I'll be asleep, and it'll take you to the Emery Thompson help desk. And I've compiled a...
and you can picture Steve in his loungewear on his recliner.
That's right.
Being the help desk.
Yes, my silk pajamas with my cigar. That will take you videos of the most common mistakes that you're making. We rarely find anything wrong with an Emery Thompson. Rather bold statement, but it ain't bragging if you can do it. What we do find is the customer makes a mistake. They leave the sugar out of the formula. This is a water-cooled machine. They clean behind it, and then they roll it back, and they roll it on top of the water line. It's a water-cooled machine. You cut off the water supply, it's not going to work. Then we get phone calls like the young lady after Hurricane Sandy. She's in knee-deep water and says, "I need to make ice cream. Is it okay to make it now?" And I said, "Please, step out of the building." Then there was the guy who said, "My machine stopped working." And I said, "When did it stop?" I always will ask you the same question. When did it last run right? So I said, "Okay, your machine stopped working. How old is it?" "It's 19 years. "When did it last run right?" "Just before lightning struck the building. We don't have any power." I said, "Ooh, maybe that's why it's not working. There's no power in the building." You'd be surprised what we hear. So I'm serious. These are true stories. And they're a lot of fun for me. I enjoy them. So that's why I give out my home phone number. And you're not going to find anybody else in any industry, any CEOs who's going to do that for you. But we do it because these machines are so simple and so reliable. We know that there's nothing wrong with it. We'll get you up and running in a couple of minutes.
You want this?
What's that?
M&M?
Yeah. Let's, if you want to throw it in the white freezer. Thank you. So, Jeff will be the first to tell you he's done a masterful job here today. So let's all give him a round of applause for some great ice cream.
And to those who are coming tomorrow, we start at 9 a.m. There's cappuccinos ready, espressos, so just come.
And wear old clothes. He's going to make you work. So if you're ready, we'll go out and I'll give you a tour of the factory. If there's any last-minute questions, I can help you with that. Otherwise, thank you all very much for coming. This was, as Jeff said, this was certainly one of our best classes. We had a lot of fun.
If not the best.
We got to give the tour.
This is a first.
It is.
Ready?
Yeah.
Anytime now. Anytime now.
Oh, gee.
Freeze bag, none.
Okay, here we go.